Welcome everyone to Jimmy John's Field on this cloudy Saturday evening.
Yeah, these clouds are definitely looking weird here, Brian.
Yeah, hot, humid, 88 degrees, and nothing but just gray clouds above us. Well, Brian Fisher and Dan Dobler with you here for this matchup between the Unicorns and the Hoppers. And last time these two teams met, they left in dramatic fashion, Dan.
Yes, it was an amazing game between these two, and Nico Ladio with the walk-off homer.
It was back-to-back the entire ball game. The Hoppers fought back in the top of the ninth to take the lead. RBIs from Stewart tied the game, Stewart and Mencken. And then a walk-off home run, a pinch hit walk-off home run for Nico Lolio. Won it for them. And so today's game, we have a interesting pitching matchup as Lane Gussler is going to start for the Unicorns today. I think this is his first time starting this year. I think he's only been in relief so far.
Yeah.
And he has an ERA of 4.26 in his 9 games played, 12 and 2/3 innings pitched, 5 walks and 12 strikeouts with a 142 WHIP. He's been okay.
Yes,
he hasn't been phenomenal, but he hasn't been terrible either. So he's going to be looking to make a statement here today.
And also we get to see Michael Stafford once again, but his first outing wasn't too good.
No, his first outing was actually last time these two teams faced off against each other, back on the 11th. And he only went 3 innings. He gave up 3 hits, 4 earned runs with 4 walks and 3 strikeouts. So definitely not the outing he wanted. And he's going to have a good shot tonight to,
redeem himself.
Yeah. So it's going to be a good game, I think, overall.
I love these two teams. They're giving us a really good battle to see, and possibly when it gets towards the playoffs as well.
They're the top 2 teams in the league right now, and every time they face off, it's a close game. Obviously, like we just mentioned, last time they faced off, it was a walk-off home run.
Mm-hmm.
The Unicorns are back out there today. They're the home team again, just as last night, and they're wearing those charcoal gray jerseys that they started wearing a couple weeks ago.
You know what, Brian? I really dig those jerseys.
They're really good. Meanwhile, the Hoppers are wearing their orange. Can't tell colors. Green away jerseys. And those are just the standard away jerseys, and not the ones with the spots on them.
No.
I like those ones much more than the other ones. We have a strong breeze going straight away to center field. It's supposed to be nice again. It's supposed to be rainless again today. I've seen the forecast. It's supposed to have severe thunderstorms now, but according to what I'm looking at, according to what I'm looking at right now, I don't see any rain in our forecast. We should be able to get the game in.
No.
We were able to get in the past 2 games.
Tomorrow we might get rain in the area, but you know what? I feel we're going to get the game in as well tomorrow.
So, Dan, tell me, who do you have picked as your player of the game today?
You know what? I'm going to have to go with Nico Ladio. I mean, he's actually in the starting lineup today. Usually we see him, like last night, he pinched hit. But he's always a starter, and he's really good. And I don't know, he's making us talk about him mainly a lot.
I'm going to go with Casey Chenoweth, and he wasn't originally in the lineup to start today, but they did a little bit of changing. Ricky Castro's actually not going to play today.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Casey Chenoweth down there at third base. I just got a gut feeling about him today that he's going to have a good game.
Yeah, it's kind of weird not seeing Castro in the lineup.
Yeah, he was in the lineup. He was going to set the lead it off, but he got pulled, so I'm a little curious what the reasoning behind that is.
Hopefully he's okay.
I'm sure we'll find out after the game. Our writer Steve had picked Clay Artizer for the Unicorns. And that's a fairly safe pick. Clay hits really well, especially in tight situations.
Yeah, he's hitting .271, has like 16 hits, and also 9 RBIs and a homer.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good game, a good matchup here, as we are just a couple moments away from the starting lineups for both teams. It's WCSX Classic Rock Night here at the Jimmy John's Field, the USPBL.
Yeah, it's definitely an overcast kind of day, cloudy. That is.
And we're about to go down to the field for the starting lineups. Diamond Hoppers being the away team will go first, so we'll send it down to the field for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for baseball. First, let's welcome the visiting team, the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, managed by Paul Nochi. The starting lineups for today's game are sponsored by AAA of Michigan. Leading off and batting first from Nutley, New Jersey, the center fielder number 24, John Kraft. Batting second from Lumberton, North Carolina, the left fielder number 22, Chris Power. Batting third from Brooklyn, New York, the first baseman number 21, Esteban Gomez. Batting fourth from Elmhurst, Illinois, the right fielder number 12, John Menken. Batting fifth from Virginia Beach, Virginia, the shortstop number 2, Cam Stewart. Batting sixth from Draper, Utah, tonight's designated hitter number 8, Mark Kruger. Batting seventh from Toll House, California, the third baseman number 5, Casey Chenoweth. Batting eighth from Tallahassee, Florida, the catcher number 4, Kyle Figueroa. Batting ninth from Chicago, Illinois, the second baseman number 20, Jeremy Scott. And the starting pitcher tonight for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers from Hampton, Michigan, number 19, Michael Stafford. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, are there any Utica Unicorn fans in the house tonight? All right then, it's time to bring on your home team, the Utica Unicorns, managed by Jim Essien. Joining the Unicorns on the field today are today's baseball buddies, the 5-tool 9 and under baseball team. Leading off and batting first, from Carlsbad, California, the shortstop, number 15, Brett the Stash Balkin with Alston Miller. Batting second from Bay Shore, New York, the right fielder, number 4, Chris Cruz with Lucas Ragers. Batting third from Dallas, Texas, the center fielder, number 10, Brandon Raw with Elon Jackson. Batting fourth from Fraser, Michigan, the catcher, number 19, Taylor Galikowski with Vincent Jackson. Batting fifth from Streamwood, Illinois, the second baseman, number 22, Brandon Larkin Kilfoyle with Ben Schuer. Batting sixth from Grayson, Georgia, the designated hitter today, number 44, Clay Arneaser with Mason Rager. Batting seventh from Denville, New Jersey, the left fielder, number 20, Mike Rampone with Dino Bernesti. Batting eighth from Brownstown, Michigan, the first baseman, number 24, Nico Lolio with Pete Castle. Batting ninth from Chicago, Illinois, the third baseman, number 2, Quinton Alexander with Emilio Odo. And the starting pitcher tonight for the Unicorns from Woodhaven, Michigan, number 35, Lane Gussler with Bryce Todecki. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats. Veterans and active military may keep your hats on while rendering the hand salute as we honor America and our military with the singing of our national anthem, performed this evening by Chloe Lazat.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous
Welcome back, everyone. Brian Fisher and Dan Delber with you here right before the first pitch between the Unicorns and the Hoppers here at Jimmy John's Field. And Dan, would you like to go through the lineups for the Hoppers before this game gets on the road?
I would like to, Brian. Leading off and batting first and in center for the Hoppers is John Kraft. Batting second and in left is Chris Power. Batting third and at first is Esteban Gomez. Batting fourth and in right is John Macon. Batting fifth and at shortstop is Cam Stewart. Batting sixth and at the DH position tonight is Mark Kruger. Batting seventh and at third is Jeremy Scott. Batting. Sorry, I was wrong. That was Casey Chenoweth. He's new in the was added in the lineup. Now batting eighth and behind the plate is Kyle Figueroa, and batting ninth and at second is Cam Stewart. Defensively for the Unicorns, out in left you have Mike Rampone. In center you have Brandon Raw. In right you have Chris Cruz. At third you have Quentin Alexander. At short you have Brett Belkin. At second you have Brandon Guilfoyle. At first is Nico Lalio. Doing the catching behind the plate is Tara Gredakowski. And on the mound is Lane Gussler.
And interesting there when you were mentioning the defensive lineups. Galikowski behind the plate today, catching for the Unicorns.
You know, Brian, he does have experience when he played ball at Madonna University. So,
yeah, it's in his repertoire, but we haven't seen him catch yet here at the USPBL. He's played left field, and yesterday he played first. So I guess he's just a man of many skills here.
Hey.
I mean, we know he can hit.
There's
He
nothing
plays
wrong
left
with
field
that.
very adeptly, and just adds to his how valuable he is, being able to catch as well.
Yes, you know, it's important as a player to try different positions as well. So, hopefully.
Well, we're seeing that with the guy on the mound, too, is Lane
Yeah.
Gussler is getting a shot to start here. And if it works out, you might see him in the rotation more often. Torrey DeShazer a couple days ago got an opportunity to start as well. Didn't go as well as he had hoped, but you know, getting looks from your manager is always exciting anyway. So meanwhile, John Kraft is going to step in for the first pitch of the ball game. Ooh, the first pitch is going to hit him high in the back.
In the head.
In the 92 mile an hour. It's going to get a lot of attention over there. Seems okay. That's scary. Definitely not how you want to start the game. You could hear that one hit the back of his helmet as he tried to turn and get out of the way of that one.
So maybe the starting jitter's getting to Gussler.
So we're waiting to see if Kraft is going to be okay. He looks to be okay. They definitely make those helmets really well nowadays. As he's standing up and walking on his own. He's going to take first base, which is great to see. That was a scary start to the ball game.
Yes, it was.
First pitch hits Kraft in the back of the head. And that was that was a fastball too.
Yes, it was.
Mid-90s.
It's never good to get hit, especially in the head.
And so now Chris Power's going to step in, and he's got a man on first after that hit by pitch with no outs. Chris Power batting just .250 on the season. He's got 3 home runs. That one's going to be in there for a strike. 0-1 now. Last time these two teams faced off, he went 0 for 3. He did get on base 3 times, though, twice from a walk, and he got hit last time they played, too. As that one's going to get away from Galikowski, and Kraft's going to try and steal. He's going to get in there safely. So with no outs, now there's a runner in scoring position for Power. As John Kraft safely steals second.
And Brian, we know these hot diamond hoppers are very dangerous on the base pads.
That we just saw right there.
Yeah.
I mean, the diamond hoppers have a ton of speed, and they're not afraid to use the double steal when the occasion calls for it. That one's going to be in there for a strike. 1-2 now on Power. Comes the 1-2 pitch. It's going to be inside for a ball. Count's going to go even at 2-2.
Power is hitting 250 this season. That's 3 homers, 11 RBIs, 14 hits.
The 2-2 pitch. Outside in the dirt. 3-2 now. Lane Gusler maybe getting a little bit of jitters out there. He hit John Kraft with the first pitch of the ball game, a 94-mile-an-hour fastball to the back of his head. He took first base, doesn't appear to be injured. The 3-2 pitch. It's going to be in there for a strike, and he's going to strike Chris Power out looking.
Ooh, very close pitch there.
And Power thought that was going to be a ball, started going down to first base, but the umpire had other ideas. So with a man at second, there's going to be 1 out for Esteban Gomez here in the top of the first inning. Last time these two teams met, Esteban Gomez went 1 for 4. He had a double, a fielder's choice with an RBI, and 2 walks. Also struck out 2 times. As that one's in there for a strike, 0-1. That one's in there for a strike as well, 0-2. Got him with the 79-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch. The sun's peeking through here at Jimmy John's Field.
The clouds in the distance look different otherwise.
As that one's outside for a ball, 1-2.
Far to the right of us, that is.
Yeah, it was really heavily overcast when we started just a few minutes ago, but now the clouds have broken away just so the sun can peek through and light up the ballpark. Comes the 1-2. He's going to check swing that one over to Guilfoyle as he got unwanted contact on that one. And he's going to be thrown out at first base. But that's going to advance John Kraft over to third for John Mencken.
Last time these two teams faced, he was 2 for 3 with 2 walks and 4 RBIs.
He also had a 2-run home run in the first inning of the last game they've played. That was back on Thursday against the Beavers. As the first pitch he sees is a ball, 1-0. He's only got 2 home runs of the season, and that was one of the 2. That one was a moonshot. That one's going to be outside for a ball, 2-0.
We're starting to see that home run trend, Brian, here at Jimmy John's Field. A couple home runs been hit out of here.
We saw a couple last night as well.
Gradikowski for the Unicorns has 4 of the season.
He's been a little bit, he hasn't hit one in a while, though,
No.
as that one's high, 3-0.
And we know Nico Ladio has several as well.
Nico Lolio obviously
Lolio.
being the one who hit
Yeah.
the walk-off 2-run shot last time these two teams faced each other last weekend. He came in a pinch hit situation, pinch hitting from Mike Rampone. Rampone, who actually had an RBI himself earlier in the game, a solo shot. So they pinch hit him in the 9th, and then Nico Lolio hit a 2-run home run. So they end up walking John Mencken on 4 straight pitches. So Cam Stewart's going to come in now with runners at the corners and 2 outs in the top half of the first inning. Still a 0-0 ball game.
Last time these two teams faced, Cam Stewart was 4 for 6 with an RBI and 2 runs scored.
Batting an astounding .356 on the season with 21 hits and 11 RBIs. As that one's inside for a ball, 1-0. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Comes the 1-0 pitch. It's going to be in there for a ball. Going to be a little high, 2-0. Got runners at the corners, but no hits yet. John Kraft got on through being hit by a pitch, and Mencken walked. So Gusler's trying to keep these freebies from reaching as that one's driven to left field. As Rampone's going back to the track to the wall, and that one's going to be off the scoreboard. And that's going to be a 3-run home run for Cam Stewart.
Oh, baby, that was off the scoreboard.
And it doesn't take the Hoppers long to get out to an early lead, and 2 freebies come around to score, and that's going to hurt Lane Gusler.
And we talked about homers, Brian.
Yeah, you were just mentioning how we've seen quite a few this weekend, and yet another one is that one's hit off the scoreboard, or actually off the netting in front of the scoreboard out there in left center field. He absolutely smashed that one. And that's the start that the Hoppers are looking to get out to. So Casey Chenoweth will step in, a late addition to this lineup. He was originally scheduled to have the day off. Or Mark Kruger, correction, he's next up as Chenoweth. So Mark Kruger will stand in. He looks at a ball for his first pitch. 1-0. So the Hoppers have a 3-0 lead after the 3-run home run from Cam Stewart just a moment ago. 2-0 now on Kruger. Kruger had himself quite a night back on Thursday. He had 3 RBIs. He had a base hit for an RBI, then a 2-run home run, his first of the season, as that one's in for a strike, 2-1. So his bat's starting to come alive here. He's batting .227 coming into the day. He's starting to get hot, and hopefully he can carry that into today's ball game and keep this line moving. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. He's going to ground that one over the third baseman, Alexander. Quitten's going to toss down to Lulio. Oh, but Lulio's not going to be able to get that. And so Kruger's going to be safe at first base on that error.
Now batting the third baseman, number 5, Casey Chenoweth.
That error is going to go to Quentin Alexander down there at third with a poor throw down to Lulio at first.
Yeah, Lolio definitely had a stretch to get that one.
So now Casey Chenoweth will stand in. Like I was just mentioning a moment ago when I thought he was up to bat, he was originally scheduled to have the day off, but for some reason Ricky Castro was pulled, so he was inserted in the lineup. The first pitch of Chenoweth is going to be low in the dirt, 1-0. Lane Gusler struggling here in the first inning. He hit John Kraft with this first pitch of the ball game, and he walked Mencken, then gave up a 3-run home run.
Chenoweth's hitting 188, had a homer, 6 RBIs, and 9 hits.
Throw down to first won't be in time as Kruger's going to get back in safely. The 1-0 is going to be in for a strike. 1-1 now. Chenoweth calls for time, but Gusler was already going through his motion and delivered the pitch anyways. Mark Kruger down there at first after reaching on an error. We got 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. The Hoppers have an early 3-0 lead thanks to the 3-run home run from Cam Stewart deep to left center. That one's going to be outside for a ball. 3-1 now. And Casey Chenoweth, Dan, is having a lot of issues hitting his spots.
Yes, he is. Then Gusler,
Gusler, though, yeah.
It's okay.
3-1 pitch is fouled into the stands behind the plate. So it'll be a full count now, 3-2 with 2 outs.
Yeah, talking about his location, especially on that pitch to Cam Stewart, I mean, it was right there for him to hit it deeply out there and hit the scoreboard.
Yeah, he gave him a juicy one right down the middle, not where he wanted that location. 3-2 pitch is going to be drilled over the head of the shortstop Balkin. It's going to be a base hit. It's going to get past Rampone, and that's going to allow, they're going to wave Casey Chenoweth home, and he's going to try and score, and he's going to get in there safely. So an error from Rampone out there in left field is going to allow the 4th run of the ball game to score.
That was Kruger that just scored.
So Chenoweth is out there. He's at second base. He has a single, then reached second due to the error. Meeting at the mound is over, trying to calm Gustler down. So he's had a rough first inning so far. He's not getting much help from his defense either.
Yeah, most time we've seen relievers get a starting position and then they seem to struggle, like DeShazier, Gustler, I forgot who else we've seen that we're used to seeing a relieving role.
As that one's hit up the middle, it's going to be a sliding stop by Guilfoyle. He's going to throw on to first, and it's going to be past Loliel, not even close to him. That's going to allow yet another run to score.
Wow.
So 3 errors in the first inning from the Unicorns.
Brutal.
Is going to give the Hoppers a 5-0 lead.
Now batting the second baseman, number 20, Jeremy Scott.
Looks like the Unicorns are definitely sleeping out there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on today. A 3-run home run by Mankin, and now 3 defensive lapses. 3 batters in a row here. So Jeremy Scott will step in. He's batting just 143 on the season, playing second base today. Still 2 outs, but a 5-0 lead with a man on second for the Hoppers in the top of the first, as the first ball is a strike. 79-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch.
And looks like there's some action in the Unicorns bullpen already, and it is the left-hander, Seth Brenner.
That one's in the first strike, 0-2. And while Lane Gustler hasn't been very good in the top of the first, it's not entirely his fault. If his defense could have made the correct plays, they would have been out of this inning already. 0-2 pitch is going to be swung on, and they're going to tag Jeremy Scott as he tries to break for first. So the Hoppers put a strong first inning behind them.
Errors.
They score
Besides
5
a homer.
runs, and they lead it 5-0. Cam Stewart had a 3-run home run, and we go to the bottom of the first, and the Unicorns are going to have to retaliate quickly here before this game gets out of hands. Brett Balkin's going to lead it off for them. Following him will be Chris Cruz and Brandon Ross. We'll be back shortly with more.
Leading off for your Utica Unicorn, the shortstop, number 15, Brett the Stash Balkin.
Welcome back, everyone. Brian Fisher and Dan Dobler with you here for the bottom half of the first inning, where Brett Balkin is going to lead it off for the Unicorns here. He's batting an incredible .417 coming into today. Last time these two teams met, he did not play. Comes the first pitch to Balkin. It's going to be high for a ball, 1-0.
Had a very good night last night.
Yes, he did.
The luck of the stash, maybe.
And then, yeah, Dan, he went 3 for 5. He did hit into a double play in the 8th inning, but other than that, he had 3 base hits. Unfortunately, because he's the leadoff man, he doesn't get many opportunities to score runners, so he has still only 1 RBI, but those 3 base hits really help boost his average there. And it's 1-1. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Going to be in there for a strike. 1-2 on him now. 89-mile-an-hour fastball. This is Michael Stafford's second start in the USPBL. His first one was a little less than stellar. He only went 3 innings and gave up 3 earned runs. That came last week when they played the Unicorns.
And of course, once again, the Unicorns won on a walk-off home run from Nico Lolio. Keep getting that mixed up there.
Comes the 1-2 pitch. He's going to ground that one back to Stafford, but it's going to get past him. And Stewart fails to play it out there.
Now batting the right fielder, number 4, Chris Cruz.
So he's going to reach on a single. So leadoff man is on. Chris Cruz is going to follow him up. He's the right fielder today for the Utica Unicorns. When Unicorns played last night, Cruz went 2 for 4. He had 2 base hits and a walk. Came around to score once. As that one is down low for a ball. 1-0. Comes the 1-0 pitch. That was going to be grounded just fouled on the first base line.
Cruz hitting .241, has 2 homers, 14 hits, and 12 RBIs.
I'm going to toss down to first real quick. Keep a close eye on Balkin. Balkin's got a ton of speed on the base paths. One of the most dangerous Unicorns base stealer. Comes the 1-1 pitch. It's going to get away from Figueroa, and Balkin's going to take off to second. He's going to get in there easily. More of a late jog for him than anything. It's going to go to 2-1 on Cruz. Now with a man on second and no outs, the Unicorns have a chance to retaliate a bit here. We're used to seeing high-scoring games between these two teams as they like to...
Yeah, last time was 10-9.
Yep, and we already seen 5 runs for the Hoppers, of which only 3 were earned. Errors on the Unicorns' part helped drive home 2 of those runs. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. It's going to be a high for a ball. 3-1 now.
The Unicorns definitely have a lot of work to do after that brutal top half of the first here for them.
Well, luckily for them, there's another 8 innings of play after this one, so they have plenty of time to get back at it as long as Gussler can get back into things. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. It's going to be in there for a strike. Count's going to be full here. 3-2 count, no outs, man on second. Unicorns currently trail at 5-0 in the bottom half of the first inning. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Ooh, he's going to strike him out looking, and Chris Cruz knew it. So with 1 down, Brandon Raw will step in. He's got a man at second and 1 out.
And that is Stafford's 4th strikeout of the season.
Yeah, he averages, I know it's still pretty early.
Yeah,
He's
it's
only
really
pitched
early.
3 innings so far, but he averages a strikeout an inning. Keeps that trend going now with just that one just there. Balkin with a strong lead at second base. The first pitch Raw looks at is a ball, 1-0. Comes the 1-0 pitch. One's in there for a strike. Count is even at 1 apiece. Strong wind blowing straight away center field, helping carry those balls out, and bounces in the dirt long before home reaches home. Brett Balkin's going to retreat back to second. This is the 2-1 pitch. It's going to be in there for a strike. Count is even at 2 apiece.
Great crowd on hand here at Jimmy John's Field this evening.
Well, it's a Saturday evening game. Saturdays and Sundays tend to be our most crowded of the bunch, just due to the fact that it's a weekend.
And tomorrow it's Father's Day, so definitely another huge crowd.
I'd imagine so, as the 2-2 pitch comes in, and that's going to be driven foul. So remain 2-2. Lots of dads love baseball. So it'd be a nice gift for the dad to bring him out here. I would like it, but I'm not a dad, so it doesn't do me any good. I'll be here anyways.
Yes, you will.
Comes the 2-2 pitch. It's going to be high, so count is going to go full again. Second time in a row now. As Stafford is trying to get out of this inning. He's got a 3-2 count on a roll with 1 out. Brett Balkin directly behind him at second base. Comes the 3-2 pitch. It's going to be high and away, so that's going to walk him. And we got runners at first and second with 1 out. So Taylor Gelikowski will step in. And like we mentioned earlier, Dan, he is the catcher for the Unicorns today.
It's very weird to see him at that position.
Like you mentioned in the pregame discussion, he has history back at Madonna University catching, but we haven't yet to see him do it here. He usually plays left field. Yesterday he played first, so he's a man of many talents. So that one's in for a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, Galikowski's hitting .326, has 4 homers, 14 hits, and 9 RBIs.
For a while he was hitting above 400, but it seems like Water's finding its level, and he's finding himself a comfortable, strong batting average above 325 as that one's driven to left field. Powers on the wall, on the run to the track, and that one's going to be way gone.
Speaking of homers, Brian.
That's going to be a 3-run home run as Gelikowski has his first home run in a while. Hit out to left field, and that's going to make it a 5-3 ball game and another scoring frenzy between these two teams already here in the first inning.
Make it number 5 for Gelikowski.
So Taylor Gelikowski hits a 3-run home run, countering the 3-run home run hit by Cam Stewart in the first inning. Hoppers do, however, still lead it 5-3. If it weren't for those errors committed by the Unicorns, this game would be all tied up, Dan.
Yes, it would. Errors can hurt you.
Definitely did this time. They had 3 errors in the top half of the first that allowed 2 runs to score. It's quickly 1-0 on Brandon Guilfoyle. But that home run from Gelikowski helps heal the damage as that one is hit towards the gap in right field, but Mencken is going to be underneath it. And that'll be the second out here in the bottom half of the first inning.
Yeah, Michael Stafford on that pitch to Gelikowski was, of course, Gelikowski's favorite pitch, but bad location for Stafford.
So Clay Artizer is going to step in now. He had an RBI last night. Hit it for a sac fly. So that one's going to be in for a ball high, 1-0. Pitch is going to be high again, 2-0 now. Michael Stafford having similar issues with his control that Gessler had in the top half of the inning. Comes the 2-0 pitch. That one will be in there for a strike, 88 miles an hour, 2-1 now.
Artizer is Steve's pick of the game.
For player of the game.
Yep.
Ooh, and that one's going to hit him on the top of the head as he had ducked down. And I'm sure that wasn't intentional, but just weird coincidence how we've had 2 players hit in the head in today's ball game already. One on both sides.
Yeah, Artizer definitely felt okay on that one, but it took a little bit for John Kraft after he was hit dead on.
More or less just grazed the top of his helmet. He was okay. And it's going to be up to Mike Rampone now with 1 man on and 2 outs to see if he can keep this line moving and possibly inch this game closer to being tied. Still early yet, but it's already a 5-3 ball game in the first inning. Rampone had a RBI base hit yesterday. As that one's going to be hit behind home plate into the crowd, 0-1.
Yeah, he's hitting dead on 200. Has 7 hits, 4 RBIs, and a homer.
Oh, one pitch is going to be way inside, 1-1. So both pitchers for both teams have struggled here in the first inning. Layden Gustler gives up 5 runs and 3 earned runs. And the Unicorns have already have 3 runs of their own after hitting against Michael Stafford for a 3-run shot. And that's going to be bobbled by Chenoweth down there at third, but they're still going to get the force out at second as Artizer came cruising in. So after 1 inning of play, the Unicorns do manage to retaliate and get 3 of their own back off the 3-run shot from Taylor Galikowski, but it's still a 5-3 lead for the Hoppers. So we go to the top of the second. It's going to be the top of the lineup all over again. So John Kraft is going to have his second plate appearance. Following him will be Chris Power and Esteban Gomez. So we'll be back shortly with more. Please stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the top half of the second inning. Top of the lineup all over again for the Hoppers as they lead at 5-3 here. John Kraft is going to lead it off.
And he was brutally hit in the head last time up.
Yeah, first pitch from
Yeah.
Gustler hit him in the head. He was down for a minute, but he ended up taking first base anyways. He shook it off, and the first pitch he sees is a ball, 1-0. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. So that one's going to be in there for a strike, 1-2. One and one, I mean. Now it's 1-2 after that one's in for a strike.
Do you have curse of predicting the future there?
Normally I just have the curse of jinxing things, but
Yeah.
today apparently I'm predicting the future, as that's going to be outside for a ball, 2-2. Two-two pitch is going to be a tad high. 3-2 now.
Seth Brenner is still getting loose out there in the Unicorns bullpen.
And he's going to end up walking John Kraft after a 3-2 count. So Chris Power is going to come in now in a similar situation as the first inning, a man on first with no outs. He struck out looking his last time up back in the first inning. First pitch to Power is going to be a little bit high, 1-0. 1-0 pitch is going to be in the dirt. And Grelikowski is going to come out to the mound and have a discussion with Gusler, try and calm him down. Jim Essian's going to come out too.
It looks like that's going to be it.
Yeah, that's going to be it for Gusler. And it only goes 1 inning pitched, and they're going to bring in Seth Brenner out of the bullpen. So we're going to have a pitching change here early in this game. And they're going to need quite a few innings out of Brenner if they're going to want to get through this game.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the video board to test your concentration skills with today's Hat Shuffle. Keep your eye on the ball. Which one is it? Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Oh, you guys are on ball. You're on the ball. Great job.
Yeah, Brenner's on the mound doing the pitching for the Unicorns. 13 innings pitch. Has a win and 2 losses. Has given up 14 hits, 9 strikeouts, 5 earned runs, and ERA is 3.46 and WHIP is 1.85.
Yeah, this is his second year with the Unicorns. He pitched last year. He played in 19 games, pitched 53 innings, and had an ERA of 3.38, just like he does this year. His WHIP was 1.44, so his WHIP's a little bit higher. Well, that's about 2 men on base each inning, but I mean his ERA is on point. He does a good job.
He does.
So I expect him to come out of the bullpen and do a pretty good job if he's on his game today, that is.
We're also known of seeing him in the starting role as well.
And in he pitched in both games in the playoffs last year where the Unicorns won the championship. Only went 2 innings pitched in relief, but didn't give up a single run and only 1 hit. So he's able to come in clutch situations, and they're going to want a few innings out of him now after Gusler can only go 1. He goes 1 inning pitched with 2 hits, 5 runs, but only 3 were earned as there was several defensive lapses on the Unicorns' part. 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. He gave up that home run to Cam Stewart, that 3-run shot. And that was a absolute
moonshot.
Yeah, absolute moonshot. As that one hit the scoreboard out there. Well, actually hit the protective netting in front of the scoreboard, so we don't break it.
Yeah.
But right to, I don't know if you can see it on the live stream, but there's the Huntington Bank sign to the left of the headshots, and that's where that ball landed. So now Chris Powers is going to come in to finish his at-bat. He's got currently a 2-0 count against him. John Kraft down there at first after being walked. The first pitch he sees is going to be grounded over to the shortstop, and that's going to get past Lolio as they throw down to first, trying for the double play. And that's going to be another error for the Unicorns, and that's going to allow Chris Power to advance to second.
Now batting the first baseman, number 21, Esteban Gomez.
So Chris Power is going to reach second on a fielder's choice and an E6, and Esteban Gomez is going to step in. Gomez grounded over to the second baseman Guilfoyle his first time up. And these errors just keep hurting the Unicorns. Now
Yes,
their
they
4th
do.
error in only the second inning of play.
In 3 in 1 inning, that's insane to see.
And they're going to try and steal third base. They're going to throw down to third and not be in time. So Chris Power is going to be in safely. And he's reached every base in a completely different way, but not a single one from a hit. He reached first on a fielder's choice, reached second on an error, and now reached third from stealing. So he's being very productive with what he's being given out there on the base paths. And now it's with a 1-0 count against Esteban Gomez. He's just got to fly one deep into the outfield for a sac fly, as it's 2-0 now on him. So 2-0 count with 1 out in the top of the second inning. Man at third. He's going to drive that one in through the gap. And, gosh, can't speak. Guilfoyle dove to try and make the play out there in center field, but couldn't make it, so got through past him and allowed Chris Power to score. So now it's a 6-3 lead in the top of the second inning. A great diving attempt by Guilfoyle, but it just hit off his glove. So now it's going to be a man at first with one out for John Mencken. He reached on a walk last time back in the first inning. Still only one out here in the top of the first, or top of the second, correction, as that's in for a strike. 0-1. So that's going to be the fourth earned run of the game for Gusler. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's going to be outside for a ball, 2-1. And actually a correction, as Lane Gusler still will only have 3 earned runs because the guy who scored was Chris Power, who reached on a fielder's choice. And that's going to be 3-1 now on Mencken. 3-1 count, one out here in the top of the second inning. 6-3 lead for the Hoppers. Comes the 3-1 pitch. That's going to be driven to right center field fairly deep as Raw's going on the run and to the track, to the wall, and makes the catch at the wall. Going to throw back in as Esteban Gomez is going to have to retreat all the way back to first base on a long run for Raw as he had to go to the deepest part of the ballpark to make that catch. Unfortunate for Mencken as he got a lot on that one. Just unfortunately hit it to the deepest part.
Once he made that catch, thankful for the fence to stop him from running.
So Cam Stewart's going to step in. He had a 3-run home run just last inning. That really got things going for the Hoppers, and they've continued to add runs on here as they already have another one here. 6-3 lead for them. So that one's in there for a strike. Got him 0-1. Yeah, Esteban Gomez still down there at first base with 2 outs. Mencken was just shy of hitting that one out of the park. That one's going to be way inside, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch is going to be swung on and hit foul. So 1-2 now. And Seth Brenner's just one pitch away from getting out of another awful inning for the Utica Unicorns, defensively and pitching-wise.
Yes.
They've committed another error and given up another run.
That's 4 errors now for the Unicorns.
Yeah, and just 1 2/3 inning pitch. Not what they've wanted at all. Lane Gusler only goes 1 inning pitches. The 1-2 is going to be just outside. Count is even at 2 apiece.
Brenner thought that was a strike. He started walking out back to the bullpen, or
Well, it's
dugout, that
It's
is.
clear he thinks he hit his spot, but the umpire obviously thought otherwise. 2-2 pitch. Going to try and steal second on the play. A bad throw by Galikowski is going to allow Esteban Gomez to move up all the way to third base. And these mistakes just keep piling up for the Unicorns, and it's really come around to hurt them. They've already had 3 runs score because of errors. The 2 in the first, and then Chris Power only reached second base to get in a scoring position because of a stolen, or because of an error. If it weren't for all those errors, Dan, I'd say it'd still be tied 3-3.
Yeah.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. It's going to be down low, and he's going to walk him. So now there's going to be runners at the corners with 2 outs, and it's just been a rough start of the ball game here for the Unicorns.
Seems like they're still sleeping out there.
And Galikowski's going to make another mound visit, talk to Seth Brenner, as Brett Balkin will join him. as Mark Kruger will step in. He reached on an error, then it came around to score on an error. So the errors really benefited him last inning. Runners at the corners with 2 outs in the top of the second inning. 6-3 lead for the Hoppers. That one's going to be in there for a strike. 0-1. 90 mile-an-hour fastball from Brenner. Comes the 0-1 pitch. And that one's going to be skied foul. 0-2. Cam Stewart broke for second, but since that pitch was fouled off.
He has to jog back.
Yes.
The lights begin to come on here at Jimmy John's Field.
Yeah, the overcast is not helping with the lighting here at all. But that's why we have all these lights surrounding us. As that one's going to be skied foul again. High in the air. Get it out of play. 0-2 still.
A little calm breeze as well.
The 0-2 pitch. Skies another one foul. Good job by Kruger here staying alive.
Definitely the home plate umpire needs new baseballs after all these foul balls.
Seth Brenner sets, delivers. Be inside for a ball, 1-2. And Cam Stewart's going to steal second without a throw. So now we have 2 runners in scoring position. And the Hoppers have already stolen several bases today. John Kraft, Power, and Stewart all have stolen bases. And we're only 1 2/3 into this game. One-two pitch is going to be skied. Base hit over into left field, and that's going to score 1. It looks like 2 as Rampone bobbles it out in left field. And so now it's going to be
This is brutal, Brian.
a 8-3 lead for the Hoppers in the top of the second inning. So a 2 RBI single for Mark Kruger as he continues to stay hot.
The Unicorns just can't get a break here.
No, they cannot. As Casey Chenoweth's going to step in. He had a base hit his first time up. First pitch to him is driven hard down the left field line, foul. So it'll be 0-1 on him. Mark Kruger down there at first. Here comes the 0-1. It's going to be way inside, nearly hitting Casey Chenoweth, and it's going to be 1-1 now. That one's going to be grounded fair ball down the first base line through the hole, and that's going to be in the right field for a base hit. So we got runners in first and second. So they just keep moving down the line. So Kyle Figueroa will come up for his second time today. Reached on an error in the first inning. One and 0 now on him. And the Unicorns have just been getting beat up here in the early goings. Home runs and errors have been the name of the game. It's just been poor outings from everyone on the team so far. It's 1-1.
You know, the Unicorns they had to go to their bullpen early yesterday as well. With Murray coming out early.
Yeah, unfortunately, Murray only went, I believe 2 2/3, but his was more of a blister issue.
Yeah.
As he swings and misses that one, 1 and 2.
And just today, it's just been the fielders and
So-
the errors.
Comes the 1-2 pitch, way outside. Brenner nearly falling over on that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And if Figueroa manages to reach here safely, that means we'll have gone through the lineup completely 2 innings in a row.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, it's been a very poor outing for the Unicorns so far early in this ballgame. They're trailing 8-3. The silver lining for the team being the Galikowski 3-run home run last half inning. We've played nearly an hour of baseball, and we're still in the top half of the second. The 2-2 pitch is going to be grounded towards the mound. If Brenner can recover and get the throw down to first, and he does.
Beautiful play there by Brenner.
And that's the type of play he's going to want to finish off this inning. Go in with a positive attitude and
And that inning's finally over with.
top of the inning.
Yeah, that is.
So after the top half of the second inning, the Hoppers have a 8-3 lead. So we go to the bottom half of the second, where Nico Lolio is going to lead it off. Following him will be Quentin Alexander and Brett Balkin. So we'll be back shortly with more. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom half of the second inning. A commanding 8-3 lead for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, as Nico Lolio is going to lead it off for the Unicorns, as they're going to try yet again to mount a comeback. They almost had one in the bottom half of the first when Galikowski hit a 3-run home run. As the first pitch to Lolio is going to be in for a strike. 0-1 on him.
Yeah, they have lots to do if they want to get back in this ball game.
Well, the first thing they need to do is cut down on errors. That one's
Yeah, that's number one.
way inside.
That's the number one thing.
1-1. Yeah, they've committed 5 errors already in today's ball game. They've only played 2 innings defensively, so they definitely just need to cut down on that, because this game would be much closer if it weren't for all those errors. The 1-1 pitch is going to be swung and foul tipped into the mask of Figueroa. He seems all right though. 1-2.
Nico Lolio hitting .217, has 4 homers, 15 RBIs, and 10 hits.
Yeah, he leads the team in RBIs, batting just .217. He is definitely what you would call a clutch player.
Yes.
He doesn't hit for average, but when you put him in a position where your team needs runs, he will deliver. And we saw that with the walk-off 2-run home run against the Hoppers last weekend, as that one is a ball 2-2, way outside for Figueroa.
And he's definitely one of the fan favorites here as well in this Unicorns lineup.
Lolio's going to call for time. The 2-2 pitch swung on a miss and a strikeout for Michael Stafford. Almost called him Matt Stafford there for a second. That'd have been ironic.
This ain't football, Brian.
Sorry, I've already
Wrong
had my
sport.
mind on the season coming up. Quentin Alexander's going to step in for his first plate appearance of the ball game.
Football season is coming, though. They start training camp soon.
Yeah, well, I'm not looking forward to much of the Lions season now that Taylor Decker's down. So that one's going to go over the head of Alexander. And both these pitchers are having issues with their control. Gussler hitting the first guy he met in the head, and then Michael Stafford hitting Clay Arteezer in the head.
Definitely getting out of hand here.
I don't know if that was a pun or not. Out of hand? I don't know. As that one's going to be grounded over to the third baseman, Chenoweth, just kind of chopped down there. Throw it on a first, going to get him. So 1 up, 2 up, 2 down for Michael Stafford.
Yeah, Stafford definitely had a lot of rest. So he continues to be okay of a start to start here in the ballgame.
So Brett Balkin will step in for his second plate appearance of the ball game. He had a base hit his first time up, continuing his impressive streak. He had 3 hits yesterday, all base hits. The man definitely hits for contact, that's for sure. Doesn't have a whole lot of pop in his bat, but he gets on base consistently with a phenomenal .417 average coming into today, but only 1 RBI. So that one's in for a strike.
The man with the stash. That's what they call him, right?
They call him the stash, indeed, as that one swung on, missed, 0-2. Comes the 0-2 pitch. Oh, he swings and hits that one over the head of Chenoweth down there at third base. It's going to be a base hit in the left field. So Brett Balkin's got his second hit of the ball game as he continues just killing it at the plate. That's 5 hits between these two last night and tonight. And Chris Cruz will step in. I feel like Brett Balkin's playing novice mode on MLB The Show because that's the only time I ever see a hitter hit so many base hits like that.
I missed that playing that game.
I still play it.
I don't have a PS4.
It's the only world where I'm a professional player. As that one's in there for a ball. 1-0 on Chris Cruz.
I have an Xbox. So I
Yeah,
had
see,
to
that's
do
your mistake right
I had
there.
to do with MLB 2K, so 12.
Yeah,
with
2K12.
Verlander, 213.
Wasn't 2K13 the last one they made for the
I think
2K?
so.
2K12 I had, 'cause Verlander was on the cover. That one's going to be a ball outside, 2-0. I played a lot of 2K12. It's very easy to be good at. So I changed over to the show thinking it'd be similar. The show is so difficult.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult baseball game, which I guess is what you want in a sports game. That way it keeps you invested. If it's too easy, you're going to get bored. It took me forever to get to where my guy could hit home runs, and I still don't hit a whole lot, as the 2-0 pitch is going to be just outside for a ball. 3-0 now on Cruz.
Yeah, back to speaking about the show, I still have a PlayStation 2, so I still play like the last one that they made for it.
Which
So,
one was that?
I think it's, what is it, 10, 11? I don't know what it is.
That's actually pretty impressive
No,
considering
actually 06, I think it is.
throw down to first, and there's going to be nothing
So I got
there.
the Tigers 06 World Series team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
With Maglio,
Maglio, Craig Monroe,
Oh my gosh.
Rondell. Oh, no, Rondell White was at the Twins then.
Verlander was a rookie
Inge,
back
I
then.
got Inge on there.
Comes the 3-0 pitch. It's going to be in there for a strike. Hit his location that time. 3-1 now.
I mean, that was a good team.
You know, when you play MLB 14 the show and you simulate the season, the Tigers win like 3 World Series in a row. Because,
Jeez.
like, you have Scherzer, and that one's going to be outside for a ball. And they're going to walk Chris Cruz. So men on first and second now with 2 outs for the Utica Unicorns as they try to mount a little bit of a comeback here. So Brandon Raw will step in. He walked back in the first inning. He's going to have a chance to score a base runner here. First pitch to Raw is going to be in there for a strike, 0-1. Stafford came out here in the second inning. He was looking strong. Got the first two batters out fairly quickly. And it looked like he was going to have a great bounce-back inning, but he's let the latest two guys on. So there's 2 outs with 2 on here in the bottom half of the second. One's going to be in there for a strike, 0-2 now. Comes the 0-2 pitch. It's going to be fouled into the stands. Or remain 0-2.
That was an 89-mile-per-hour pitch from Stafford.
Yeah, his fastball usually flirts around that number between 89, 90, and 91. So pretty decent fastball for him, as that one's going to be way outside, 1-2. He's got nothing on Corey Kimber, though, who can throw with the best of them up there at 98 miles an hour we saw last night with the Mammoths. So that one's in there for a ball, 2-2.
Every single time he takes them out and brings the heat.
It's important, though. It's great to throw heat and throw really hard, but as we've seen with lots of pitchers in the past, it doesn't do you a whole lot of good if you can't hit the strike zone. Corey Kimber ended up going 1 inning and gave up no earned runs, so it wasn't much of an issue for him last night as that one's fouled in the netting. And so it's going to remain 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. But we also didn't see a whole lot of secondary pitches from Corey Kimber either. It was almost entirely fastball after fastball. And that's got to put a lot of stress on your arm, too, when you throw hard for every single pitch. The 2-2 pitch. In there for a strike. He's going to strike Brandon Raw out looking, and he does not agree with that one, as that one he thought was inside.
It worked inside, Brian.
So Michael Stafford's going to get out of this inning with no damage done, as Raw tosses his bat, very frustrated. So we're going to the top half of the third inning, where due up for the Hoppers will be Jeremy Scott. Following him will be John Kraft and Chris Power. So it's an 8-3 lead for the Hoppers. As we go to the top of the third inning. Please stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. Brian Fisher, Dan Dobler with you here. Jeremy Scott set to lead it off for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. He struck out back in the first inning. Seth Brenner retakes the mound for his second inning of work. He came in relief of Gussler after Gussler walked the first batter of the last inning. Gussler only going 1 inning pitch, giving up 3 earned runs. Seth Brenner already has 1 earned run against him. So 1-0 on Jeremy Scott. That one's going to soar into foul territory over there by the umbrellas in a right field, 1-1.
Hopefully Unicorns are better defensively the rest of this ball game because they haven't been to start.
Well, they have another 7 innings left to play, so let's hope that they can gather themselves and just not have any more errors. As that one's skied foul, 1-2. Comes the 1-2 pitch. Be high for a ball, 2-2. He's going to strike him out looking. Oh, and
He didn't like it either.
Jeremy Scott is not going to agree
No.
with that one, as he had a couple of words to say to the umpire.
He was way up in his face.
He'll go down with strikes for the second time today. And John Kraft will step in now. He is, well, 0 for 0, as he hasn't registered an official at-bat today in his 2 plate appearances. He got hit by a pitch in the first inning and then walked last in the second inning. Swing and a miss on that one, as it's 0-1 on him now. One and one as that last pitch missed.
Kraft hitting 250 of the season. It's 5 hits.
That one's in there for a strike, so it's going to go to 2-2. He's going to hit that one high in the air, but foul into the stands. So it'll remain 2-2 now. It's an 8-3 lead for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers here in the top half of the third. We've seen a lot of runs come around to score. The 2-2 pitch, skied foul yet again.
And quite a few errors from the Unicorns.
Yeah, in case you're just tuning in, Cam Stewart got it off back in the first inning with a 3-run home run. Then errors after error allowed 2 more runs to score. And then the Unicorns responded with one of their own in the bottom half. Taylor Galikowski had a 3-run home run. He's swinging a miss on that one. Foul tip, actually, so he's going to stay alive, 2-2. And so that made it 5-3, but then errors came around to hurt again, making it 6-3, and then a 2 RBI single by Mark Kruger. He's going to ground that one out. So 2 up, 2 down for Seth Brenner. Looking to have a good bounce back inning here in the third. Chris Power is going to step in. He struck out looking and hit into a fielder's choice so far today. He came around to score last inning. Reached first on a fielder's choice, reached second on an error, and then reached third and stealing third.
Yeah.
So very interesting ways that he reaches his bases. That was all before he came around to score on the two RBI base hit. As the first pitch that Power sees is going to be a ball, 1-0. Comes the 1-0. Foul that in the netting. Made lots of fans jump in that first row there. So 1-1.
Probably got the fans in those lower suites here as well jumping.
Yes, we have that right below the first row of fans in front of us. There's actually a lower level beneath that. The diamond tables, we call them, and the lower level suites. Nice, comfortable, air-conditioned suites on these hot 90-degree days.
Yes.
As it's 2-1 on Chris Power. And we're sitting up here in this nice, comfortable, air-conditioned press box. As it's 3-1 now. We just pray that that air conditioner doesn't ever break on us. Comes the 3-1, and that one's going to be in there for a strike. 3-2 now.
Yeah, his Power was heading. Yeah, he was heading towards first.
Yeah, Power thought he was getting walked for sure, but it looked like it caught the outside edge. The 3-2 pitch. He's going to strike him out looking, and Chris Power's not going to agree with that. Definitely complaining about the strike zone. Him and the umpire are having a little bit of a discussion here. So Seth Brenner has a great job in this inning, going 1-2-3. So we go to the bottom half of the third inning where the Unicorns are going to have Gelikowski, the man who had a 3-run home run back in the first leadoff. Following him will be Guilfoyle and Artizer. So we'll be back with more in just a couple moments. It's an 8-3 lead for the Hoppers. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom half of the third inning where Taylor Galikowski is set to lead it off. Galikowski hit a 3-run bomb out to left field his last time up. That's been the only offense out of the Unicorns so far today.
And that was his 5th homer of the season.
Yeah, he'd been without a home run for a few weeks now, and we were wondering if Water was starting to find his level, but he just absolutely crushed that one over in the left field. Power just kept going back, and eventually ran out of space. So Michael Stafford out for his third inning of work. First pitch that he gives to Galikowski is swung on and missed. 86 miles an hour. The 0-1 pitch is over his head, and we've seen a lot of that today.
Yes, we have,
a lot
Brian.
of pitches by the head. 2 guys got hit in the head, and that's got to be the 4th or 5th that we've seen just in that general vicinity. Both
Definitely getting out of hand.
it's 1-1 now, and here comes the 1-1. Outside, 2-1 now.
I mean, both of these teams have been in battle to start the season as well.
I highly doubt any of it is intentional.
No.
Considering the fact that a lot of these guys live in close quarters with each other. They know each other personally. That one's hit for a base hit in the left center field, and Galikowski's got a second hit of the ball game. So Brandon Guilfoyle will stand in. He flew out to John Mankin his last time up over there in right field. He's got a man at first with no outs here in the bottom half of the third inning. The first pitch to him is in. It's going to be high for a ball, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch. Oh, he's going to drive that one deep to left center field. Not deep enough, though. It's just shy of the warning track where Kraft will make the catch. That one made a loud crack of the bat
did,
there,
Brian.
but he got a little bit too underneath it.
I thought it was definitely going to be out, but the way that sounded off the bat.
Yeah, the way that sounded off the bat, I thought for sure that was going to be a home run, but it just stopped shy of the warning track. where Kraft made the catch. So it's going to remain a 8-3 lead here with 1 out. And Clay Artizer is going to step in. He was hit in the head last time up.
Grazed, that is.
Still hit, though.
Yeah.
As that one's in for a strike. Thank goodness those helmets are so well padded nowadays. The 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Big rip there from Artizer. 1 on, 1 out here in the bottom half of the third inning. 0-2 count on Artizer. 8-3 ball game. It's going to be skied foul. And remain 0-2. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. He's going to drive that one over the head of the second baseman, Scott, and that's going to be into the gap in right center field. And Taylor Galikowski is going to be waved around third base. They're going to try and score him. The throw in is not going to be in time, and Galikowski is going to score all the way from first. That's going to make an 8-4 ball game thanks to a RBI double from Clay Artizer.
Great hit there by Artizer, splitting the gap between the center and the right.
Artizer always comes in clutch situations, and gets those big base hits. So now Mike Rampone will step in. He's been having himself quite a night last night. He had a base hit and RBI, and then last time against the Hoppers, he had himself a solo shot, as the first pitch he sees is a ball 1-0. Last time up, however, he grounded out. Got to run our second base and cut down further on this lead. The 1-0 pitch. It's going to be hit on a base hit over the head of the second baseman. They're going to wave Artizer around. And Rampone's going to be safe in there at second base, and 2 RBI doubles in a row. Rampone just beating the throw at second base. Now it's an 8-5 ball game here in the bottom half of the third inning.
Almost in the same location as Artizer's hit, but wasn't
a little less
Yeah.
deep that time. Wasn't able to get all the way into the gap against the wall. But 2 solid hits in a row against Michael Stafford, and he's really been hurting today. Haven't had no pitchers from either team have really had great performances so far. So Nico Lolio steps in, struck out swinging his last time up. That was going to be outside for a ball, 1-0. Pitch is going to be outside, 2-0 now. Still just 1 out here with a man at second base. The Unicorns have gotten 2 runs back this inning, making it 8-5.
as the Hoppers begin action in their bullpen, and it's the right-hander Ben Ellison.
Two-0 pitch can be inside, 3-0 now. Saw Ben Allison the last time these two teams played as well. He went 1 2/3 innings, gave up 4 earned runs. Not a great outing for him. So that one's in there for a strike, 3-1.
And with his team in the lead, if he comes in here in the ball game, hopefully he redeems himself.
He's in dire need of a good outing here, and I think this would be the game where he could get it. So that one's going to be a walk. So there's going to be men at first and second still with 1 out here in the bottom half of the third inning. So Quentin Alexander will step in now. He grounded out last inning. going to be meeting at the mound. Paul Nochi's going to come out. Looks like we're going to have that pitching change here. That's going to be it from Michael Stafford. He goes 2 1/3 innings, not much better than Lane Gussler, his counterpart. Giving up 7 hits today, 5 runs, all of which were earned.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get up and do the chicken dance here on
3 walks and 3 strikeouts, so not a great outing for him. As
No,
Ben
not
Allison's
at
going
all.
to step in now.
And his first outing between the Hoppers wasn't good at all either. And like you said, Brian, we've seen Ben Allison quite a few times already this season. He has 7 innings pitched, 10 hits, 5 strikeouts, 11 earned runs, ERA 14.14, and WHIP is 286.
Yeah, so not great stats from him. When, like you said, 7 innings pitched, 10 hits and 10 runs, or 10 hits and 11 runs.
Let's hope he can redeem himself.
This would be a great opportunity too. He's trying to protect the lead for the Hoppers, try to get the final 2 outs of this inning. And it just takes one good outing to really get the ball rolling and get headed in the right direction. So 8-3 lead for 8-5 lead, correction, for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. As we wait, I'll give you a current rundown, reset for you, let you know what happened. In the first inning, Cam Stewart hit a 3-run home run. The Hoppers 3-0 lead. Then Aris scored 2 more, making it 5-0. In the bottom half of the first, it was Taylor Galikowski who had a 3-run home run to make it 5-3. And then it's gotten 3 more runs for the Hoppers. Struggling today, man. A 2 RBI base hit for Mark Kruger made that so, and also an error scored another run, as that one's going to get away from Figueroa and allow both runners to move up to second and third. Count is 1-0 on Quentin Alexander. Pitch is grounded fair down the first base line, and that's going to get at least running. They're going to wave around the second one. Nico Lulio is going to come in for home. He's going to be in safely. So 3 doubles this inning.
Just like that, Brian, we have a ball game.
Will make it a 1-run game, Dan. So it's 8-7 ball game here in the bottom half of the third inning. And Brett Balkin's going to walk up. He's got 2 base hits today and a chance to get his second RBI of the season if he can drive home Quentin Alexander from second base. Unicorns, I always say, have the best perseverance out of any team in this league. And they're really showing it here. They got down early. That one's going to hit Brett Balkin. Or did he dodge out of the way of that one in time? The way his mannerisms were, it appeared that it hit him, but apparently not, because it came close to his head.
What is with these pitchers today going towards the head of the hitters?
Yeah, that's the second time this inning at least that we've seen that. So 1-0 on Balkin. So all 7 of those earned runs are going to be against Michael Stafford. It's 2-0 now on Balkin. And just like last week when we saw these two teams face off, it's a high-scoring game, but this time the scoring's coming really early on.
Yes, they are. We're only in the third.
That one's in there for a ball as well. 3-0 now on Brett Balkin.
Usually about this time, we're here in the fifth, I believe. We're in the sixth at getting close.
Well, we've played almost an hour and a half of baseball, and we're still in the third inning. Three-0 pitch can be in there for a strike, 3-1. Runner at second was still only one out here in the bottom half of the third inning. 8-7 ball game. And that one's going to be grounded up the middle off the glove of Allison. So that's going to allow for Brett Balkin to reach. And
You're both tied up.
Quentin Alexander's going to come home and score on that. So we have a tie ball game at 8 apiece.
Wow. This game has been crazy, Brian.
Scott would have gotten that ball if Ben Allison would have let it get by him. But because he tried to grab it and went off his glove and went the opposite direction away from Jeremy Scott. So that's going to be an RBI base hit for Brett Balkin, and that's the second RBI of the season. Third base hit of the ball game.
Feeling like MLB The Show, like we were talking about earlier. With all those hits.
Yeah. And that one's going to be inside in the dirt, 1-0.
It's got to be the stash.
Third inning in a row in which Chris Cruz has been up. Struck out in the first, walked in the second. Now it's a 2-0 count on him here in the third. Still only one out here in the bottom of the third inning with a runner at first base. A tie 8-8 ball game. That one's going to be outside for a ball, 3-0. Second batter in a row, which Ben Allison has gotten to a 3-0 count against. Three-0 pitch is going to be in there for a strike, 3-1. Cruz thought that was a ball. Was getting ready to toss his bat, but had to double check that. The 3-1 pitch is going to be swung on to pretty deep left center, and they're going to keep running and to the track to the wall, and that's going to be off the top of the wall. And
It's
that's going to be
gone.
a home run as Kraft trying to make the catch. I think he put it over the wall.
Wow.
And a 2-run home run for Chris Cruz is going to give them a 10-8 lead here in the bottom of the third inning.
This game has just been insane, Brian.
It's gotten ridiculous here.
Oh, high-scoring game early. And these two teams, last time, it was a 10-9 final. We're already at 10-8, and it's only in the third.
inning, yeah. So a 2-run shot from Chris Cruz is going to give the Unicorns their first lead of the ball game here in the bottom of the third. And like you said, Dan, 10-8. Still only one out as that ball's going to get away from Figueroa. 1-0 on Brandon Raw, and these pitchers are just all over the place today. Comes the 1-0 pitch. In the dirt, 2-0. Two-0 pitch, in for a strike, 2-1. Unicorns came into the bottom half of this inning trailing 8-3, but have scored 7 runs this inning to take the lead.
Crazy.
And that one's in for a strike, 2-2 now. It's just like every time these teams play. It's a crazy back-to-back game. We saw that last time these two teams faced, and it was lead changes constantly as that one's grounded over to Scott. And finally, we get the second out of the inning. And Taylor Galikowski, who led off the inning, is going to come back up for his second at-bat of the inning.
Running out of room here on our score sheets.
Yeah, I definitely am, and I'm not sure where I'm going to write this one down at. The first pitch of the second at bat this inning for Galakowski is going to be high and inside. 1-0. He's going to drive that one on a line. Oh my gosh, that is absolute moonshot. Deep left field, and that is gone. Wow, that one just not a doubt in anyone's mind that that one was going to stay in the ballpark. That one was just absolutely crushed. His second home run of the ball game, a solo shot. And Taylor Galakowski is the easy favorite so far for player of the game. 4 RBIs on 2 home runs, 3 for 3.
His 6th of the season came with a moonshot.
And he's just absolutely killing it today. And it's now an 11-8 lead for the Unicorns in what has just been an absolutely absurd game, both sides of it. The 0-1 pitch is going to be high and away, 1-1 on Brandon Guilfoyle in his second at-bat. One and two now on Guilfoyle. See, he's going to ground that one over to the first baseman. And Gomez will tag first, and we're finally going to be out of this inning. The Unicorns score 8 in the bottom of the third to retake the lead, or take the lead and make it 11-8 going to the top of the 4th inning.
This game's crazy, Brian.
Yeah, just an absolutely absurd game so far. Just tons of runs on both sides of it. So we're going to go to the top of the 4th inning. We're leading it off for the Hoppers as now they try to mount a comeback. Will be Esteban Gomez. Following him will be John Mankin and Cam Stewart. So we'll be back shortly with more. Please stay tuned to this exciting game. Welcome back, everyone, to the top half of the 4th inning where Esteban Gomez is going to lead it off. Seth Barner out for his 3rd inning of work. Now he's going to be in there for a strike.
Just tuning in, it's been a crazy game.
Yeah, 5 runs in the first by the Hoppers and 3 in the bottom half for the Unicorns. Make it 5-3. Swing and a miss there from Gomez, 0-2. Then 3 runs in the top of the second for the Hoppers, make it 8-3 lead for them. And now 8 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning for the Unicorns give them an 11-8 lead. And it's just the top of the 4th now. So that one's outside for a ball, 1-2.
And how about Galakowski hitting 2 homers already for the Unicorns?
A 3-run shot and a solo shot, both to deep left field. And that last one was even deeper than the first one he hit.
Yeah.
I mean, coming off his bat, there wasn't a doubt in the world that that one wasn't going to get out. That one's fouled off 1-2. Yeah, just Power just kind of took a couple steps back and just watched it go. I mean, that was the second home run we saw in that inning, too. Just 2 batters before that, Chris Cruz hit a 2-run shot. 1-2 pitches. Skied foul. Going to remain 1-2. And then just give you a rundown. The inning started with Taylor Galikowski reaching on a base hit. Clay Artizer had an RBI double. Then Mike Rampone had an RBI double. Quentin Alexander had a 2 RBI double. Brett Bulkin had an RBI single. Chris Cruz had a 2 RBI homer. And then Taylor Galikowski capped it off with an RBI, single solo shot. So, meanwhile, Gomez reaches safely at first base on a base hit. So, John Mankin will step in. He is 0 for 1 today. He walked back in the first inning, flew out to center field his last time up.
Unicorns have action in their bullpen, and it's the righty Sam Burton.
I have a feeling, Dan, we're going to be saying that a lot today.
Yes.
And the pitch is going to be high, 1-0 now on Mankin. Comes the 1-0 pitch. It's going to drive that one foul into the stands. 1-1 now on Mankin. Fighting off that 90-mile-an-hour fastball from Brenner. Comes the 1-1 pitch. It's going to be high, 2-1. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Be high again, 3-1. 3-1 count, no outs here in the top half of the 4th inning. Runner at first. 11-8 lead for the Unicorns. That was going to be inside. He's going to walk him. So now we have men at first and second with no outs in the top of the 4th inning, and the Hoppers are at it again. Cam Stewart will come up. He had a 3-run shot back in the first, then walked into second, then stole second. First pitch to Stewart's going to be fouled way out of the stadium.
We have seen a total of 4 homers in this ball game.
Yeah, we've seen a lot. Cam Stewart, Taylor Galikowski with 2 of them, and then Chris Cruz with 1. Crazy so far. One and one now on Stewart. Stewart's going to call for time. Runners at first and second with no outs here for the Hoppers. Top of the 4th inning. They trail by 3. 1-1 pitch is going to be high. 2-1. Galikowski playing behind the plate. Has 2 home runs today, and you got to start thinking maybe they should play him behind the plate more often, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 2 home runs, and maybe just keep rolling with it.
Yeah. Why stop now?
The 2-1 pitch. And then for a strike, count is even at 2 apiece. The 2-2 pitch going to be driven on a line right to Balkin. Quick throw down to second, but they're not going to double him up. So there's going to be 1 out here on a nice play as they're going to check on Guilfoyle as he went tumbling over second on that attempt to double up Gomez.
It was Alexander that was tumbling over. Oh, go foil.
Guilfoyle's at third.
1-0 now on Mark Kruger with 1 out and men at first and second. Kruger is 1 for 2 today. He reached on error, scored on error, had a base hit with 2 RBIs. Eventful day for him so far. Comes the 1-0 pitch. It's me inside, 2-0. Pitch is going to be in there for a strike, 2-1. It's been a slow-moving game so far because of all the offense we've had. We've played just slightly over an hour and a half, and we're only in the 4th inning, just the top of the 4th, with just 1 out.
It's already a high-scoring game.
That one's in for a strike, 2-2. Yeah, it's 11-8 so far. Unicorns have the lead. Galikowski's got himself a 2-home run day already with a 3-run shot and a solo shot. Stewart and Cruz also have a home run. 2-2 is going to be down low. Count's going to go run full, 3-2.
And last time these two teams faced each other, the final score was only 10-9.
Yeah, we've already maxed that out. I thought that was a high-scoring game. Apparently they proved me wrong with how much offense they can produce.
They proved us both wrong.
Comes the 3-2 pitch. He's going to drive that one on the line. Just fouled on the first base side. Got a good piece at that one, but was just early on it. It's going to remain 3-2. Comes the 3-2 pitch. Ooh, it almost hits Kruger as that one comes way inside. It's going to walk him. So now the bases are going to be loaded with 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. The Hoppers have a chance here to do some major damage and possibly tie it. Jim Essing's going to walk out to the mound. That's probably going to be it for Seth Brenner. Going to take the ball from him, so we're going to see a pitching change again. Brenner goes 2 1/3 innings pitched. Gives up 3 earned runs.
There's something new, there's something novel. So if you know it, get up and show the person next to you who doesn't know how to do it.
4 hits. Three walks. And 2 strikeouts. So, not an ideal appearance from him, but he was able to get through 2 innings of work and kill some time for another reliever to come in.
And that's going to be the righty Sam Burton.
Sam Burton, who we mentioned was warming up earlier.
We got some people that know how to do this. Don't be shy, make yourself proud. And your attention please now 54, the Utica Unicorns.
Sam Burton this season has 19 innings pitched. He's normally a starter, I believe. He's given up 27 hits and 15 runs, has a 5.68 ERA. 21 strikeouts, though, so there's a little bit of a silver lining there for him. Definitely going to want to improve on that ERA, though.
Yeah.
And in a high-scoring game like this, he has a chance to prove himself by showing the Hoppers that he's not going to allow this scoring trend to continue. If he can cut down and get out of this major jam that he inherited from Seth Brenner, really leave his mark on the game.
Great job, folks. You did a great job.
So Casey Chenoweth will stand in. He's got 2 base hits of his own today. He was my pick for player of the game. That's going to be a ball outside, 1-0. It's going to be a hit foul into the bleachers or the grandstand behind home plate. 1-1 now.
Northwestern Tech, the HBA school that works.
Beautiful evening here at the ballpark.
Yeah, it's on the hotter side, a little bit humid, almost 90 degrees out.
Mm-hmm.
It was overcast when the game started. It's about half and half now, as that's going to be in for a strike. 1-2 now. And by half and half, I mean literally half and half. Half the sky's overcast, half if it's clear.
You're going to turn into a cloud observer?
As that one's outside, 2-2. Not today, as this game is very exciting. It's been nonstop action.
Couple fans out there on the hill.
Couple. What's your definition of couple? There's a
I mean,
lot of them
lot,
out
sorry.
there. That one's driven over into right field. Cruz is going to have to get that one on the run. It's going to drop for a base hit. That's going to score at least 1 run. And it's going to make it a 11-9 ball game. So base hit RBI for Casey Chenoweth.
Sorry,
3 for
Brian.
3
It's been
today.
a long game.
I'm just messing with you. It's going to be an earned run for Seth Brenner. Still only 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. Comes in for a strike on Kyle Figueroa. 0-1. Figueroa is 0 for 2 today, reaching an error back in the first, however.
Bases are loaded of hoppers.
Yeah, that base hit only moved
Full
every
of
runner,
hoppers.
only moved runners over 1, so the bases remain loaded with 1 out here. And the tying run is out there at second base. It's 1-1 now on Figueroa. So that one's in there for a ball. So that one is skied way, probably out into the service drive on Auburn Road. So you really got a lot of that one, but nailed it foul. So 1-2 now on Figueroa. 1-2 will remain, I should say. Bases are still loaded with 1 out here in the top half of the 4th inning. 11-9 ball game in favor of the Unicorns. One's fouled into the netting. Remain 1-2. Both these teams, just like last time they played, continue to go back and forth. They'll exchange leads constantly. And that's what happens when you have the 2 best teams in the league face each other.
Yes. Fans are definitely getting treated tonight to a great ball game.
Was the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and that's going to be the second out of the inning as Kyle Figueroa goes down there on strikes. The first out for Sam Burton. So now Jeremy Scott will come in. He struck out both his 2 appearances so far today. In fact, he is the only Eastside Diamond Hopper to have not reached base today in some manner or fashion.
Maybe you could turn around here.
Oh, he's looking to, especially with bases loaded and 2 outs.
This
As
would
that
be a
one's
great opportunity
outside
for
for a
him.
ball, 1-0.
To get on and get some those ribbies. Because he only has 1 of the season.
And looking through the Unicorns lineup, the only player who hasn't reached base for the Unicorns is Guilfoyle. So that's just, you're getting offense from every person today. If they haven't reached on a hit, they've reached on a walk. If they haven't reached on a walk, they've reached on an error. Allen's in there for a ball, 1-1 now. or a strike, 1-1. Still 2 outs with bases loaded. Go ahead run at first base for the Hoppers. Jeremy Scott comes in today batting 143. That one's high, 2-1. Be low and away, 3-1 now, as Burton threatens to walk in a run. Sure the Hoppers wouldn't mind that too much. I was in there for a strike right down the middle. Fastball, 8 miles an hour. So 3-2 now. Count is full with 2 outs and bases loaded. This is probably the most pressure situation we've seen out of any player today. Just been an offense-oriented day. Here comes a 3-2 pitch. He's going to drill that one up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. That's going to score multiple runs, at least 2, maybe 3. As that one's going to get past Pat Raw in center field. And they're going to take a 12-11 lead here in the top of the 4th inning.
And talk about Jeremy Scott not getting on. He's getting on now in
Yeah.
a huge way.
And now the Hoppers have had every runner reach, or every player reach base in some manner or fashion. And they've retaken the lead here, 12-11 in the top half of the 4th inning.
This is getting out of control. I don't know what to say.
And that's going to be I don't even know how to, that one was an error. There was a double and reach out third on an error.
No,
That was
it's a
just a
triple.
straight up triple. So I thought I got past Raw out there, but I thought that was because he couldn't handle it. That was in there for a ball on John Kraft, 1-0 on him. So a bases clearing triple. They'll score 3 runs and give the Diamond Hoppers a lead. Swing and a miss from Kraft, and that's going to be a strike, 1-1.
I don't even want to know what the final score is going to be here. It's been getting a great ball game between both. I mean, of course, some of them were errors.
That's low for a ball, 2-1, and yeah, Dan, it's just going to. You know, I heard about this fabled game last year where one team
Yeah.
scored like 30 runs, and
Ooh.
this one is looking like it because we've only played 3.5 innings, and it's 12-11. As that one's a check swing foul, 2-2. And it's getting to comedic levels. How many runs have
Yes.
scored so far in this still early ball game? We've played nearly 2 hours now, and we're only in the top half of the 4th inning. Not even halfway done as the 2-2 pitch is swung on, missed, and finally
Yeah.
the Unicorns get out of the
Hallelujah.
inning, but not before the Hoppers score 4 runs to reclaim the lead and make it 12-11. So you go to the bottom half of the 4th inning, where the Unicorns will try to reclaim the lead yet again. Leading off for them will be Clay Artizer. He had a double, 2 RBI or an RBI double back in the last inning in the 3rd. Following him will be Mike Rampone and Nico Lolio. So we'll be back shortly with more. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom half of the fourth inning. Brian Fisher and Dan Dilber with you here. The Hoppers have reclaimed the lead in the top half of the inning. They scored 4 runs to make it 12-11. Back and forth ball game indeed. As that one's in for a strike on Artizer. 0-1 on him. He's going to hit that one, a ground ball over to the shortstop Stewart. Throw down at first is going to get him. 1 up, 1 down quickly for Ben Allison. Needed that one after a just
Long.
long third inning.
Yes.
So Mike Rampone will step in. He has a double and an RBI today. 1 for 2. Rampone's been on fire lately. Had a RBI yesterday, and then the last time these two teams met, he had a home run as well. It's going to be high for a ball, 1-0.
You said you still haven't found out why his walk-up song.
No, I
That's the
tried to
wrong thing.
find him before the game, but he wasn't in the locker room, so I'll have to find out later, as that one's going to be low, 2-0.
You know, I was reading through my Twitter account yesterday, and Yoenis Cespedes has the same walk-up song as well.
So do you think he's just a big Cespedes
I
fan?
don't think so. I don't.
It's a ball, 3-0.
I don't know. Don't really know how to say it here.
I mean, that's about as much evidence as we have going for us so far.
Mm-hmm.
That one's going to be in there for a strike, 3-1. Through and pitch. He's going to lose him. Going to walk. Mike Rampone is going to be on base for the second time today. Nico Lolio is going to step in. He's 0 for 1. Strikeout swinging and a walk. One man on, 1 out here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Unicorns currently trail up by 1 run, 12-11. First pitch to Lolio is going to be in for a strike, 0-1. That one's going to be hit on a hot shot over to first base. He's not going to be able to corral that, and Nico Lolio is going to get on base safely there. Hit off the heel of Gomez's glove.
Now batting the second baseman, number 2, Quinton Alexander.
So Quinton Alexander is going to come up with a man on first and second and 1 out here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Chance to tie the ball game. He had a 2 RBI double back in the third. Comes the first pitch to Alexander. He's going to ground that one right up the middle of base hit to center field, and they're going to try and score. Mike Rampone from second, and he's going to get in safely as the throw in is off base. And we have a tie ball game at 12 apiece.
Yay.
Now batting the shortstop, number 15.
So another RBI for Quinton Alexander.
This has been a battle. And I don't think it's going to stop.
So Brett Balkin will step in. He's 3 for 3 today, all base hits. He has himself an RBI, doubling his RBI total this year. Second RBI of the season. Knowing him, he'll probably get a base hit here too. Of course, now that I've said that, of course he will ground out or something. That one's going to be in for a strike, 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out, 2 men on, 12-12 ball game here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. He's going to hit that one high in the air. And Chenoweth's going to be underneath it over by third base. And that's going to be the second out. The first time that Balkan hasn't reached base safely.
Ryan, he didn't ground out. He flew out.
Yeah, more or less popped out. Yeah. I knew as soon as I said that it was not going to happen the way I predicted. I guess he was due to get out. So now with 2 outs, Chris Cruz will step in. Men on first and second, a chance to retake the lead for the Hoppers yet again. Chris Cruz hit a 2-run home run last inning. He's come up to bat in every inning so far. Strikeout looking, walk, and a 2-run home run. First pitch he sees is going to be a ball outside the zone, 1-0. Pitch is driven pretty deep to center field straight away, going to the track to the wall.
And that ball's gone.
A 3-run home run
boy.
for Chris Cruz, his second of the ball game.
Jeez.
And he's got 5 RBIs on the day, and it is now a 15-12 lead for the Utica Unicorns.
Oh, baby.
And at this point, this is just nothing but crazy.
Yes, it is.
I don't know what to say. 15-12 in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Folks, you don't see this every game.
Like, you can't make it up. I mean, this is crazy. It's exciting. It's really exciting,
Yes,
but
is.
it's crazy. Galikowski and Cruz both have 2 home runs for the Unicorns. They have 11. Hold on. Let me redo this. Let me count how many RBIs together they have so far. Galikowski has 4, and now Cruz has 5, so they have 9 between them. They've produced more than half the runs on their own today. And it's going to be tough to pick a player of the game at this rate.
Yes, it is.
So Brandon Raw is stepped in.
And they're going to... 10-2.
It looks like Scott out there at second base is hurt.
I don't even know what happened. Hopefully he's okay.
Looks like they're gonna take him off the field. He's limping.
Jeremy Scott's been having a great night as well. Yeah, obviously he just had that 3 RBI triple.
So Joe Maroney's going to take over at short, and Stewart's going to move over to second. So that probably means for the offense that Maroney will be batting 9th and replacing Jeremy Scott. Jeremy Scott had that 3 RBI triple to give the Hoppers the lead in the top half of the inning, and now a 3-run home run from Chris Cruz gives the Unicorns the lead back.
This has been
As we wait to
insane.
resume playing here.
It's been exciting and insane at the same time.
It is now 9:05 p.m., Dan. We've played 2 hours of baseball, and we're only in the bottom of the 4th
Don't
inning.
even remind me, Brian.
And it is 15-12. This is... I don't know whether to be, really, excited about all the offense. You don't see home run derbies like this.
Let me tell you, we're going to take a look back at these scorecards later on in the season. We're going to be like, oh, my goodness.
And it's 0-2 now on Brandon Raw.
Even probably tomorrow we'll look at it.
We have to be here
Next
early
couple
tomorrow,
days.
too, so it could be a quick turnaround for us, as that one's down low for a ball, 1-2. But, I'm partly, astounded, really, shocked. I am partly, really excited, and part of me is like, oh, my goodness, this is crazy.
Yes.
The 1-2 ball is hit into fair territory, then foul. I think it went off of Raw as he tried to go down the first base line, and that's why it went foul. So it'll remain 1-2. 1 ball, 2 outs, or 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. It is a 15-12 ball game in favor of the Unicorns. 5 runs in the first for the Hoppers, 3 in the first for the Unicorns, made it 5-3. 3 in the second for the Hoppers, made it 8-3. 8 in the bottom of the third made it 11-8 for the Unicorns. And now 4 apiece for both teams here in the fourth inning have made it 15-12. As that one's going to be grounded out through in the 5.5 hole down in the left field. Base hit for Brandon Raw.
Brian, after you were saying all that, you might need a breather.
I've needed a breather for a while. It's been nothing but long innings as Taylor Galikowski is going to step in. He had a solo shot last inning. 2 home runs on the day, 4 RBIs. He's 3 for 3. He has come around to score in each of his at-bats.
University graduate Taylor. He's a big fan of all the local Detroit sports teams. He's also hit 2 home runs today. Let's hear it for him.
That was going to be hit on a line drive down left field, and that's going to get down fair ball. That's going to be an extra base hit for Galikowski, his 4th hit of the day, and they're going to stop Brandon Raw at third base. And with 2 outs, we have runners to second and third, and they just keep moving the line. Galikowski's just absolutely killing it.
Yes, he is.
So he's got himself a double here in the 4th inning.
It's going to be hard to choose a player of the game, Brian, when this game's all said and done.
Dan, he's just a triple shy of the cycle now, too.
Yeah.
He's got a base hit, 2 home runs, and a double. So now Brandon Guilfoyle will stand. He's the only player on both rosters besides John Macon, who is now a replacement for Scott, who hasn't reached base today. So let's see if he can do it here and maybe drive in a couple more runs. That one's going to be down low inside, 1-0. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss on that one. 1-1. One pitch is going to be grounded foul. 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 15-12 lead for the Utica Unicorns. Men at second and third. A chance to extend on that lead here. That one's going to be bounced into the dirt, and that's going to allow 1 run to score and make it 16-12 on that wild pitch.
Yay. This is getting interesting.
To say the least, Dan, to say the least.
Well,
so with a 2-2 count on Brandon Guilfoyle, it's now a 16-12 lead with a runner at third base after that wild pitch allowed 1 to score.
well, we're definitely going to remember this game.
It's definitely a night to remember as he swings and misses at that one. But he got a piece of it. And Figueroa looks just absolutely exasperated down there.
Say, come on.
He was-
Can that be the strike 3 and get out of this inning?
The look on his face behind the plate when he thought that was a strike 3 was one of just pure frustration. As the 2-2, it's 2-2 now, 2 outs, a man at third, 16-12 lead. Just going to ground that one foul, stay alive. And we're getting close to 20 runs for the Unicorns. Between the two of them, we've had 28 in today's ball game. The 2-2 count. He's going to hit that one right to the second baseman, Stewart. Throw down to first, and the inning is finally going to be over.
I don't know how many times we've done that already in this game.
And the Unicorns put up a 5 spot, take this lead back again, 16-12, as we go to the top half of the 5th inning. When we come back to the top half of the 5th, it's going to be Chris Power to lead things off. Following him will be Esteban Gomez and John Mankin. So please stay tuned for more.
Ay.
Welcome back, everyone, to the top half of the 5th inning. Chris Powers up to bat. 16-12 lead in favor of the Unicorns. And that one's going to be hit into center field, and it's going to be take a great running play by Raw to get that one, and he does pull it in.
Yeah, he definitely had to come in for that one.
1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. That's probably the quickest out we've seen all ball game. So,
And he's not lying, folks.
Sam Burton out there on the mound. It's been a bizarre game. I'd give you a rundown of everything that's happened, but
Yeah.
that would take me an inning and a half. It's 16-12.
You know what, Brian? I brought her water. You might need it.
Yeah, there's no might about it. Here comes the first pitch to Gomez as he stands in. 1-0 on him. He is 2 for 3 today. He has 2 base hits, came around to score both times. Everyone's getting in on this hit parade today as he grounds that one over to the second baseman, Alexander, and they're going to throw him out. So John Mencken will stand in now with 2 outs here in the top half of the 5th inning. John Mencken is 0 for 1 today. He's walked 2 times, came around to score on both of those. Every single player on both teams, minus Brendan Guilfoyle, has reached base safely today. So that one's going to be in for a strike. Or every single player that's had a plate appearance, I should say.
It used to be 2 guys, Jeremy Scott, but he had that triple, 3 RBI triple, but now he's taking out a ball game. Hopefully he's okay.
Maroney replaced him, and it's 0 for 2. Actually, Stewart replaced him, and
Stewart just switched over.
Maroney replaced Stewart. So now Maroney's at short for the Hoppers, and Stewart's at second. It's 0-2 now on Mencken. 0-2 pitch is going to be in the dirt. He's having trouble finding it, but lucky with no men on base, there's no harm to it. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Ooh, that's going to hit him. Another hit batter. And Mencken's going to take first base. Cam Stewart's going to come up now. He had a 3-run home run back in the first inning. Had a walk in the second, stole second. And his last time up, he hit a line drive right to Balkin at short. First pitch to Stewart is going to be a ball, 1-0. We have only had one 1-2-3 inning in this ball game, and that came courtesy of the Unicorns in the third, back when Seth Brenner was still pitching. 1-1 on him now. It's going to be outside for a ball. 2-1. One pitch is going to be fouled in the netting. 2-2 now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top half of the 5th. 16-12 ball game in favor of the Utica Unicorns. We have 15 hits for the Unicorns and 9 for the Hoppers. And the story early in the game was 5 errors for the Unicorns. So the reason why they were losing so badly, 8-3, and they've turned the tables, and 16-12 lead for them now, as that one's going to get away from Galikowski, and that's going to allow Mencken to advance to second. There's been a lot of stories to this game, Dan.
Yes, there have.
Poor pitching, errors, wild pitches,
homers,
just offense in general.
It's been all around.
Literally everything in this game has happened, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's left to happen?
I don't know. I just don't know, Brian.
Comes the 3-2 pitch. Be outside. It's going to walk him. With 2 outs, the Hoppers have men on first and second for Mark Kruger. Mark Kruger is 1 for 2 today. He reached an error, scored an error later in that same inning. Had a 2 RBI base hit and then walked. So he's reached base every single time he's come up to bat so far. And he foul tips that one off the face mask of the umpire. He seems okay, though. 0-1 on him. Oh, and pitch swung on and missed. Big rip there from Kruger. 0-2 on him. We've had home runs today from Stewart, Galikowski, and Cruz. Both Galikowski and Cruz have two each. 4 RBIs for Galikowski and 5 for Cruz, and that's going to strike him out looking to end the inning. And we have played half an inning or half a game of baseball here after 2 hours of play.
We did?
And we're going to go to the bottom half of the 5th inning, where due up for the Unicorns will be Clay Artizer. Following him, Mike Rampone and Nico Lolio. So we'll be back shortly with more. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom half of the 5th inning. We've played half of a game so far after 2 hours of play.
And we have a pitching change, Brian.
And we do. Ben Allison's day is done. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a bad outing from him. 1 2/3 innings pitched with 9 hits, 9 runs, 9 of them earned, 1 walk and 1 strikeout. Not what he needed in relief.
No.
And just 16 runs given up between him and the starter, Michael Stafford. And Clay Artizer steps in, and he is 1 for 2 today. He got hit by a pitch. He had a RBI double, and he grounded out last time up. It's 1-1 on him now. As it's 2-1 now on Artizer, as that one missed high and away. He's going to be in there for a ball, 3-1. It's going to be high. He's going to walk him. First batter he sees is going to be a walk. Jordan Pennell, by the way, on the mound. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. He, in 14 innings pitched, has a 1.28 ERA, so he's got good stats for the year. Let's hope he can continue this, because I'm sure both teams would like to go home at some point.
key word, some point.
I'm sure both of them would like to go home with a win, though. So it's that competitive spirit these guys have. This is the reason why it's 16-12. So with no outs, one man on in the bottom half of the first from Mike Rampone. Rampone is 1 for 2 today. He had a RBI double and a walk today. 1-0 on him now. It's going to be low, 2-0. To a pitch. It's going to be in there for a strike. 2-1. Defense playing Rampone straight up. He comes into today batting at the Mendoza line at 200. Had himself a decent day, though, with that RBI double. As he fouls that one off. 2-2. I feel quite bad for our writer, Steve, as he is the one who has to recap all this game afterwards.
I'm going to
Quite
look
a lot of
forward to
fun
reading
for
it,
him.
though.
Probably gonna feel like an essay typing out, as that one's flared over to right field. And on the run, Gomez can't get it, so that's going to be a base hit for Mike Rampone. Now runners at first and second with no out in the bottom of the fifth. Now Nico Lolio will step in. He's got himself a base hit today. He's 1 for 2. Came around a score after he walked in the third.
I chose him as my player of the game.
Nico Lolio?
Yep.
He's not done too bad today. I picked Casey Chenoweth. My guy has an RBI though. He's 3 for 3.
But look at Steve's guy.
Clay Artizer is 1 for 2. He has got an RBI double. 0 for 1 now on Nico Lolio.
So right now I'm in last. Again.
I think I've really come in last the last 2 days. As that one swung on and missed. 0-2.
I think I won yesterday.
I can't remember. I can't even remember what I picked yesterday.
Actually, yeah.
Actually, I have the score sheet in front of me. I think I wrote it down. Comes the 0-2 pitch. He's going to sky that one foul into the stands. He's going to remain 0-2 now on Lolio.
It's been a long game. I'm not going to remember what happened the past couple of days.
Oh, 2 pitch again is fouled off. Oh, 2 pitch outside. 1-2 now. 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs. Runners at first and second. A 16-12 lead for the Unicorns on the bottom half of the 5th inning. Swung on and foul tipped.
Lolio just staying alive there.
Just barely. He's done a good job of fouling off these pitches to stay alive, like you just mentioned. Lolio calls for time. RBIs today from Balkin, Chris Cruz, Gelikowski, Artizer, Rampone, and Alexander are how they've gotten 16 runs. As that one is going to be a ball 2-2. Not counting any wild runners scored on wild pitches too. And then the Hoppers have RBIs from Cam Stewart, Mark Kruger, Casey Chenoweth, and Jeremy Scott, as that one is driven into right field where Mankins going to make the catch. It's going to be the first out of the ball game, and going to try and get to third on the play, and he's going to be called safe down there at third base.
Very close play there.
Clay Artiser tagging and running the third. Meanwhile, Rampone stays put at first base. So we have one up and runners at the corners in the bottom half of the fifth inning for Quentin Alexander.
Throw was compliments of one Mr. John Benton. Give him a hand. Now batting the second baseman, number 2, Quentin Alexander.
Quentin Alexander steps in. He has got 3 RBIs today. He's got a base hit and a double. Had himself quite a night coming into the day, just batting 176. That one's going to be in there for a ball, 1-0. This is the type of game where you go into the locker room afterwards and go, "Did you have hits?" "Yeah, I had hits." "Well, how many did you have?" "Oh, I had 2. "I had 4 today."
That sucks for you.
1-0. 2-0 now.
Yeah, you never.
90-mile-an-hour fastball misses low.
But guess what, guys? I had a homer.
Yeah, it's just like everyone
Not
talking.
just 1, 2.
Everyone talking about how many runs they've had.
And it's been a wild game.
Yes, it is. They're going to throw it on a first, but not get Rampone down there. Here's the 2-0 pitch. He's going to ground that one over the shortstop. They're going to try and turn. But Maroney's going to bobble it. And they're just going to get the runner at second. Meanwhile, a run's going to score and make it 17-2. So Quentin Alexander hitting into a fielder's choice and getting his 4th RBI of the ball game. As they get Rampone at second. So now we have a runner at first with 2 outs. A 17-12 lead for the Unicorns. I'd want to say the Unicorns are going to running away with this one, but
You never know.
the Hoppers had a 5-run lead earlier in the game, and that the Unicorns put an 8 spot in the bottom of the third to overcome that. Then the Hoppers put a 4 spot in the top of the next inning to overcome that, and then the 5 spot for the Unicorns to overcome that. So it's just been crazy.
Yes, it has.
And they're going to nearly hit Brett Balkin.
Good news, Brian. These two teams will get some rest because they're not in action tomorrow.
They're going to need much needed rest. They're going to.
Yes,
they
they will.
deserve to sleep in tomorrow. Brett Balkin is 3 for 4 today. He has 3 singles and an RBI. Most recently, though, he popped up over to third base.
Well-deserved rest for both of them.
1-0 pitch is going to be skied blooper over to right field. That's going to land in foul territory, though. So it's going to be 1-1 now.
Well, we have called our first high-scoring ball game of the season.
That 10-9 ball game I was going to say was our first
Yeah.
high-scoring one, but this one's
But
like
this
putting
is-
that one in,
yes.
leaving that one in the dust. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Runner at first base, bottom of the 5th. The Unicorns score 1 more. It's 17-12. As that one's going to be grounded over to the third baseman, and that's going to end the inning. Unicorns do, however, get 1 more, and it's 17-12 lead for them going to the top of the 6th inning. So when we come back, the Hoppers are going to be due up the bat, and Casey Chenoweth's going to lead it off. Following him will be Kyle Figueroa and Jeremy Scott, or actually Joe Maroney for them, as Jeremy Scott got pulled due to an injury. So we'll be back shortly with more. Welcome back, everyone, to the top of the 6th inning, where Casey Channel is set to lead it off. His team trailing by 5 runs here, 12-17. And the first pitch he's offered is swung on and missed, 0-1, as Sam Burton's out for another inning of work.
And if you're just tuning in, no, our scoreboard's not broken. That's the real score.
It is 12-17. As swung on and missed again, 0-2. Sam Burton did a good job in the 5th inning. He did hit a batter and walk a guy, but as far as I'm concerned, that's a good outing so far because he hasn't given up any earned runs. Knock on wood.
There you go.
It's more of like a particle board, but I guess I'll take it. It's made out of wood. It was the 0-2. It's going to be away from outside the zone, and 1-2 now. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, and that's going to be a strikeout, the second of the evening for Sam Burton, the first swinging. So now Kyle Figueroa is going to step in. He's 0 for 3. Struck out swinging his last time up. Reached, though, on an error today. That's going to be a base hit over to right field. Swings and hits the first pitch he sees. So the first pitch Figueroa sees, he hits into right field for a base hit. So Joe Maroney will step in for his first at-bat of the ball game. Came in as a defensive replacement for Jeremy Scott. He left injured a couple innings ago.
Joe Maroney's hitting 158, has 6 hits, 3 RBIs.
Jeremy Scott left the game with 2 strikeouts and a bases-clearing triple. That gave the Hoppers the lead at the time, although the Unicorns came back again. So that was going to be outside for a ball 1-0 now on Maroney.
And the Unicorns got some action in their bullpen. It is the righty Brandon White.
Brandon White still new to the league. I think we've only seen him once or twice. So that one's fouled in the netting. 1-1. We are running the bases at the end of the 6th inning because of how long this game is running on. Here comes the 1-1, and that's going to be inside 2-1.
Thankfully, it's not fireworks night here at the ballpark.
Yeah, we'd have to end the game, or not end the game, but pause the game shortly if that were the case.
It would be a huge cleanup if it was. Happy Friday night is fireworks night here at Jimmy John's Field.
So that one's a ball, 3-1. A lot of MLB teams do that, so I can understand the sentiment as to why they would want to do that as well. It's always a good fan attractor as the 3-1 pitch is going to be in there for a strike. 3-2 full count now.
And Maroney was walking towards first.
Yeah, he was. He thought that was a ball, but the umpire disagreed with him. 3 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 man on in the top of the 6th inning. 17-12 lead for the Unicorns, however. That one's going to be popped into foul territory down the right field line. And
long run there.
yeah, Alexander with a long run from second base gets that one just over top of the right field line. So technically the putout's 4, but it was really down there in right field where it happened. So John Kraft will step in. He doesn't have a hit yet today, but he's reached base twice. On the very first pitch today, Lane Gussler hit him in the head, and then he stole second after going to first, and he walked in the 2nd inning, grounded out in the 3rd, and struck out in the 4th. As he hits that one up the middle for a base hit, first pitch he sees. So it's going to be 2 men on, 2 outs here in the top half of the 6th inning. So Chris Power will step in. He's 0 for 4 today, but he reached on a fielder's choice back in the 2nd. Runner in scoring position for him. Chance to cut down on the deficit. feel like I've said that a million times today, too. It's going to be in there for a strike, 0-1 on Chris Power. Comes the 0-1 pitch. He's going to check his swing on that one. Going to be a ball, 1-1. One pitch is going to be a ball, 2-1. Comes the 2-1 pitch. He's going to ground that one over to the second baseman, and he's going to bobble it out there at second, and that's going to allow 1 run to score. And that throw's going to be high down there at third, and that's going to allow another run to score.
Jeez.
As
a wheeze.
Power's going to retreat back to second base, and it is now a 17-14 ball game.
Errors, overthrown. This is getting crazy.
So, 2 errors on the place for the
Yeah.
Unicorns? That makes it, 7 errors now for them today. That would be a, I don't even know, an E4. And then also would that be 2 E4s? It'd be a throwing error too.
Yes.
As Kraft and Figueroa come around to score. 1 strike, 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning. One's going to be in the dirt. Not far away from Galikowski, though, so it's 1-1. Esteban Gomez up to the plate. He's 2 for 4 today. 2 base hits, came around to score both times. It's going to be a ball, 1-1. Or 2-1. The 2-1 pitch is going to be grounded foul. Chopped foul. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at second base. 14-17 ball game. The Eastside Diamond Hoppers trail it by 3 runs.
It's surprising with all the errors Unicorns have had in this game. They are leading.
Yeah, we've had a combined, holy cow, 31 runs today.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a scoreless inning yet, as that one's going to be grounded over to Alexander. He managed to make the play this time, and that's going to end the inning. The Unicorns still lead it 17-14 despite the 2 runs scored by the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. So after 5.5 innings, we have a 17-14 lead for the Unicorns. Going to the bottom of the 6th inning, Chris Cruz is going to lead it off. Following him with Brandon Raw and Taylor Galikowski. So we'll be back shortly with more. Please stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Brian Fisher and Dan Bilber with you here. It's a 17-14 lead for the Utica Unicorns, and at the end of this half inning, the kids are going to run the bases.
And we're going to get a huge stretch because my legs are killing me.
Jordan Pennell is out for his 2nd inning of work.
I don't know about you, Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm getting out of it. Yeah. And 1-0 count on Chris Cruz. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's going to be inside, 2-0 now.
Just been one of those nights. Days, that is.
Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Outside, 3-0 now. Comes the 3-0. It's going to walk him on 4 straight pitches to lead off the inning. It's never a good sign as a pitcher. Pennell being one of the most solid relievers in the bullpen, already has an earned run against him today. So now Brandon Raw will stand in. He is 1 for 3. Base hit his last time up, came around to score. First pitch he sees, he fouls into the netting behind home plate, 0-1. Oh, 1 pitch is a strike, 1-1. Or 1-0 pitch is a strike, 1-1. 0-2. You know what? The scoreboard messed me up on that one because they put a ball up there, and he's going to swing and miss in that one, so he's going to strike out. So Jordan Pennell has his first strikeout of the ball game. So now Taylor Gilakowski will step in. He is just a triple shy of the cycle here.
Two homers in this game were monsters.
That one's in for a strike. 0-1 now on Gilakowski. Yeah, he had 2 just absolute moonshots over to the left field. One hit the sign. One ended up in the trees behind the light pole out there. He has 4 RBIs today, and he's 4 for 4. Like I said, he's just a triple shy of the cycle. So this is one of the most exciting at-bats you can possibly see today. So that one's swung on and hit foul, 0-2. Got a runner down there at first, 1 out here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Well, 2 pitch swung on and missed, and 2 consecutive strikeouts for Jordan Pennell. And we're just 1 out away from having played 6 full innings here. Brandon Guilfoyle will stand in. He has not reached base at all today. He's flew out, popped out, and grounded out. Oh, that's right. Comes the first pitch to Guilfoyle. 1-0 now as that pitch missed. As that one's going to be hit foul. 1-1 now. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. In there for a ball, 2-1. 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed, and 2 balls, 2 strikes now on Brandon
That was a
Guilfoyle.
big cut there.
Yes, indeed, and Pennell's just 1 strike away from striking out the side. That'd be something we haven't seen yet today.
Mm-hmm.
Comes the 2-2. Ooh, that's going to be just a tad high for a ball. Counts full now at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Man at first. 17-14 lead for the Utica Unicorns here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. I'm getting all the teens.
16th.
Yeah, I'm getting all the teens here because we've 14 to
It better
17.
not be 16th inning.
As that one's going to be driven into the gap in left field, and on the run is Power, who will make the catch shy of the warning track. So we've played 6 full innings here, and it's 17-14 in the Unicorns' favor. And we go to the top half of the 7th inning after the kids run the bases here. And when we come back, it's going to be John Mankin to lead it off. Following him will be Cam Stewart and Mark Kruger. So we'll be back shortly with more. Welcome back, everyone.
And Brian, we got a new pitcher for the Unicorns.
Yes, we do. Brandon White is on the mound. Sam taking over for Sam Burton. Sam Burton did a fairly decent job. Only gave him 1 earned run.
Yeah, he came in, did 2 2/3 inning pitch, gave up 4 hits, and like you said, the 1 earned run, and had 4 strikeouts and 1 walk.
Brandon White in his second game ever with the USPBL. His first game out, he pitched against the Hoppers last week. He went 1 2/3 with 0 hits, 0 runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. So a very strong debut for him. Let's hope he can repeat it here. He's already 1-1 on John Mankin, as that one's popped into the air and to shallow right field. And Alexander is going to come over and not be able to make the catch, as he made a sliding attempt, and he's going to reach base. And that's going to be a base hit for John Mankin.
Now batting to second baseman number 2, Cam Stewart.
So Cam Stewart's up to bat now. He is 1 for... Oh, gosh, I'm losing my ability to read right now. He's 1 for 2. He's got a 3-run home run back in the first. He walked twice and stole a base. That one's going to be grounded over to third base. They're going to go to second, try to turn 2, and not going to get him. It's just going to get away from Lolio, but luckily Cam Stewart's so far down the line that he didn't really have a chance to get down to second base. So we have 1 down now as Cam Stewart hits into a fielder's choice. Mark Kruger's going to step in now. He's reached 3 out of the 4 times he's been up, only 2 for 4 technically. He reached on an error and then scored on an error later in the same inning. Had a base hit with 2 RBIs. Walked, came around to score, and then struck out looking his last time up in the 5th. First pitch to Kruger is going to be a ball, 1-0. Going to throw it on a first, but Cam Stewart's going to get back in time fairly easily. One-0 pitch is a strike, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. We've been playing for 3 hours now, and we're only in the top half of the 7th.
Kids got to run their bases early tonight.
Yeah, there's a silver lining for them, as a swing and a miss there. And it's going to go 1-2 now. I don't know if it's early would be per se early as terms of how many innings we've pitched, but, I mean, it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's about
so
the time they would run it anyways. Comes the 1-2 pitch. Stewart's going to try and steal that pitch. That ball's going to get through, and it's going to be a base hit, and Stewart's going to make it all the way to third where he's going to stop. So, runners will be at the corners with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. Thanks to the Mark Kruger base hit. Balkin had started to break to second base because of the fact that Stewart was stealing, and because of that, when the ball was hit where he wasn't there to make the play. So it got through and to left field for a base hit. Comes the first pitch to Chenoweth of the at-bat. Strike, 0-1. Corners of the corners, 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. 17-14 lead for the Unicorns. Throw it on a first, but Kruger's back in time. We have absolutely shattered the most runs in a game record. That was 22 that was reached last year, as that's a swing and a miss. 0-2 now on
Now we're at
Chenoweth.
30.
31.
31.
31 is now the new record for combined runs in a game.
I was so close. Just one off.
You know what, Dan? I'm willing to forgive you tonight.
Okay.
I just don't have the energy to scold you like I normally would. Here's the 0-2 pitch. He's going to drill that one down the left field line. It's going to land foul.
Ooh, that Barry just got the foul.
Yeah, just barely fouled on the left field line. And Chenoweth's going to have to return back with an 0-2 count.
Brandon White was definitely holding his breath there. Chenoweth wish he could have straightened that one out. Definitely would have drove on at least a run.
At least one run, yeah. 0-2 on Chenoweth. One out, runners at the corners. It's been a long night here at Jimmy John's Field. Lots of offense. That one's drilled on a line over. It looks like it's going to be into the glove of Cruz out there in right field. And that's going to score one run, so it's going to be 17-15. Still have yet to play an inning where a run hasn't scored. Sac fly RBI for Casey Chenoweth, my pick of the game for player of the game. So Kyle Figueroa will step in now with runner at first and 2 outs. His team trailing by just 2 runs here as the new record is now 32. And every run we score, the record keeps improving. For combined runs in a single game, Brandon White is on the mound. So far, he's got 1 earned run against him. A swing and a miss there from Figueroa. Big swing at 93-mile-an-hour fastball. 0-1 on him. I'm looking at the pitchers, and I'm pretty sure that every pitcher has at least 1 earned run on him today. Stafford and Allison combined for 16 earned runs. 0-1 on Figueroa. Wait a second. Yeah. Swing and a miss there. 0-2 now on Figueroa.
You're questioning yourself there, Brian?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I'm losing my mind.
We are. Especially with this 32-run ball game.
It's exciting, but it's also tiring.
Yes, it is.
I can't imagine what it's like for the players down there.
Luckily, both of these teams are not in action tomorrow to get a well rest.
We're in action tomorrow, though.
Yes, we
We're going
are.
to be here for a 1:35 ball game between the Beavers and the Mammoths.
Yes, and those two teams have been struggling. So
Didn't those two teams meet already earlier this week, or was that last week I'm thinking of?
I think it was last week.
They're all starting to fuse together in my mind now.
I don't know. After this game, I can't remember what happened the past few days.
0-2 pitch is just ephused over the head of Galikowski, and that's going to allow Kruger to advance to second base. So with 1 ball and 2 strikes and 2 outs, Kruger down there at second in scoring position. Figueroa has a chance to make this a 1-run ball game. White steps off the mound. He's retaking the mound now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 17 to 15 lead for the Unicorns. Comes the 1-2 pitch. He's going to drill that one fouled on the first base line. It'll remain 1-2. Here comes the 1-2. It's going to be outside for a ball. Counts even, 2-2. Two balls, two strikes, two outs here in the top of the 7th inning. 17-15 lead for the Utica Unicorns. I feel like I've said that 1,000 times now.
You're telling me.
Defense playing Figueroa straight up. 93-mile-an-hour fastball in the dirt. Counts full at 3-2. So now full count with 2 outs. A runner in scoring position. Poor starts from both starting
Starting pitchers.
Yeah, starting pitchers today. Michael Stafford only went 2 1/3 with 7 hits and 7 earned runs, while Lane Gussler went only 1 inning with 3 earned runs against him. There was 5 runs and 3 earned, 2 of which were unearned because of errors. And then not much in relief either, as that one's going to be grounded over to the second baseman and throw down a first, where Lulio's going to tag first, and that's going to be it for the top of the 7th inning. We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. So, oh my God, is it finally 7th inning stretch time?
Yes, it is. Finally.
So we will go to the 7th inning stretch where the Unicorns lead at 17-15. Clay Artizer and Mike Rampone and Nico Lulio up next in the bottom half of the inning. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom half of the 7th inning where Clay Artizer is set to lead it off. First pitch at him is a ball high, 1-0. Jordan Pennell's out, and Carl Bryce is in. Pennell went 2 innings pitched with 1 hit, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. So pretty good start, or pretty good relief appearance from him. Swing and a miss there by Artizer, at least as far as it goes for today. So Bryce comes in. He's pitched 6 2/3. He has 9 strikeouts in that span and no earned runs. So let's hope that he can keep that trend tried and true. The 1-1 pitch is a strike, 1-2. Artizer walked last time up. He has an RBI today when he had a double back in the 3rd inning. Swing and a miss there, and there's a strikeout, 10th of the season for Carl Bryce. And 1 up, 1 down. Now Mike Rampone will step in. one's going to get away from Figueroa. Ball outside, but no one done. No one's on base. It was a 1-0 pitch. He's going to ground that one down the third baseline. Foul. 1-1 now on Rampone. "32 runs scored today, the new MLB USPBL record for combined runs.
Are you still stuck on MLB The Show?
2-1. God, how long ago was it when we talked about
I don't know.
that?
It's been a while.
Felt like yesterday.
Yep.
Comes the 2-1 pitch. It's going to be in the dirt. 3-1. It's the 3-0 pitch. It's going to be in there for a strike. Full count now, 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. 17-15 lead for the Unicorns. I'll keep it short and sweet and just say both teams have scored a lot of runs. We've seen home runs from Stewart, Galikowski, and Cruz. Galikowski and Cruz both have 2 apiece. As that one's drilled down to the third baseman off the heel of his glove. The second baseman, or the shortstop, Maroney, was able to corral it, but unfortunately it was after Rampone had already gotten on base. So we have 1 man on with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Nico Lolio is going to stand in now. Lolio is 1 for 3 today. He's a walk and a base hit. Swing and a miss there from Lolio on an 81-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch. So 0-1. Rampone with a pretty good lead out there at first base. He's a pretty speedster out there on the base paths. Comes the 0-1 pitch. It's going to be high and away. 1-1 now. Going to try and steal and show a bunt. But he bunts it foul for a strike, 1-2. So Rampone's going to have to retreat back to first base.
Yeah, Rampone had a great jump there.
He would have gotten in easily if that bunt had stayed fair. Keeps the double play in order. I don't think any of us would mind if they were able to hit into a double play. Ooh, he's going to catch the inside corner, and that's going to be a strikeout looking for Carl Bryce. Second strikeout of the inning. And so now with 2 outs and a man on, it's going to be up to Quentin Alexander to extend the lead.
Yeah, that pitch just got the inside corner.
Yeah, Quentin Alexander's had himself quite a night. He's got RBIs on his last 3 plate appearances. He's got 4 on the night. And the Unicorns have... Chris Cruz has 5 RBIs. Galikowski has 4 RBIs. And Quentin Alexander has 4 RBIs.
RBIs after RBIs after RBIs.
And meanwhile, Rampone's going to steal second on a wild pitch. So 1-0 on Quentin Alexander. Quentin Alexander, not normally the type of player you have to keep an eye on at the plate. He is coming in today batting just 176, but he's really cashing in on today's hit train with those 4 RBIs and is helping propel his team. Between him, Galikowski, and Cruz, they've produced. That one's going to be hit fouled on the right field line. They've produced 13 runs out of the 17 the Unicorns have. So 3 players have the majority of the runs today. Runner at second base at 2 outs here for Quentin Alexander. A chance to extend the lead for the Unicorns. It was a 1-1 pitch. Be outside, 2-1. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. He's going to ground that one over the second baseman, Stewart. Toss down to first, and that's going to end the inning. And we are going to the top of the 8th inning. 2 innings left to play before this game has concluded. It's a 17-15 lead in favor of the Unicorns. And when we come back, leading off for the Hoppers is going to be Joe Maroney. Following him will be John Kraft and Chris Power. Please stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the top of the 8th inning. We're due up for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. It's going to be Joe Maroney.
Yeah, Joe Maroney pinched hit for Jeremy Scott, or it's in the ballgame for Jeremy Scott after an injury.
Jeremy Scott had a bases-clearing triple back in the 4th inning. That was pulled in the 5th due to injury. 0-1 now on Joe Maroney as Brandon White's out for another inning of work.
Brandon White out of Chicago, Illinois.
That one's going to be in there for a strike as well, 0-2. I've noticed that the umpire strike zone has gotten a lot more generous.
Yes.
He's trying to force the hitters to swing more so this game will end quicker. He's going to strike him out looking, and that ball was definitely outside the zone.
Yeah,
Dan.
it was. It was. So,
and
talk about generous.
Yeah, he's being much more generous as he's going to make sure these batters are going down. So John Kraft will step in now. John Kraft had a base hit his last time up. That one's going to be hit hard into foul territory, but like into the stands. 0-1 on him. Oh, 1 pitch is coming in. It's going to be inside, 1-1. Swing and a miss at that one, 1-2. Comes the 1-2 pitch. Be high, 2-2. And it's a 17-15 ball game. Unicorns have 17 hits, 17 runs, and 5 or 6 errors. The number up there is actually not right. And the Hoppers have 15 runs, 13 hits, as that one's going to be grounded over the first baseman. Brandon White's going to cover first and tag the base, and just beat John Kraft by a step. So Chris Power will get to step in now with 2 outs here in the top half of the 8th inning. Power has reached twice today, but it's technically 0 for 5. He's reached on a fielder's choice and on an error. Actually, He's been on the receiving end of 3 errors today as he reached second. He reached the second on fielder's choice, reached second base on an error. Then later in the 6th inning, he reached first on an error, and then reached second on an error.
You know what's crazy, Brian, about all this? All these errors, Unicorns are still in the lead.
Yeah, they have like 6 errors today, but they're winning 17-15.
It's
Just
weird.
Offense has been overwhelming that. And if you look at it, the only reason the Eastside Diamond Hoppers have like 5 runs is because of errors.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still either way. There's a lot of offense coming from both sides. As here comes the 0-2 pitch, way outside, 1-2. It's just it's been a crazy game. That's all I can say. There's errors, a lot home runs. I mean, guys hitting or about 1 triple away from hitting for the cycle. 1-2 pitch, swung on, I missed, and that's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. The first 1-2-3 inning we've seen since the 3rd, which was like 2 hours ago.
Hip, hip, hooray.
So we're going to go to the bottom half of the 8th, where due up for the Unicorns is going to be Brett Balkin. Following him, Chris Cruz and Brandon Ross, so please stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom half of the 8th inning, and oh my lord, we're getting close now, Dan.
Yes, we are. I can feel it.
Let's just, well, I'll hold my tongue. Okay. Brett Balkin's up. He is 3 for 5 today. He has a 3 base hits and an RBI. And he's going to foul the first one off, 0-1. Brett Balkin with one of the best batting averages in the league, but hardly any home runs or no home runs, and only 2 RBIs to show for it. He hits leadoff, so it's to be expected almost. Great contact hitter.
He sure is. Just finds a way to get on, you know.
Yes, as that one's flied into foul territory down by first base, and Gomez is going to get it. So that's going to be the first out of the inning, of the bottom half of the inning. Chris Cruz is going to step in. He's got himself 2 home runs. He has 2 for 3. He has 2 home runs, a 2-run shot and a 3-run shot, 2 walks, and a strikeout looking.
It's going to be very hard to pick a player of the game here.
Yeah, between him, Taylor Galikowski, and Quentin Alexander, it's going to be tough. Those 3 players alone have 13 RBIs. And that's going to be a ball inside, 1-0. 2-0 on Cruz. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. It's going to be inside. 3-0 now. Nearly hit him.
Yeah, it did. Seen a couple hit batters today. What, 2 in the head?
Yeah, both Artizer and Balkan have been hitting the head today. Lots of close ones, as that one's going to be a walk on 4 straight pitches. As Carl Bryce is out there for a second inning of work. Brandon Raw will step in now as he waits for the first pitch from Bryce. He's going to drill that one into foul territory. Raw is 1 for 5 today. He had a base hit back in the 4th inning. Struck out most recently, though. They're going to threaten to throw down a first, and Bryce thinks himself a comedian as he was laughing after watching Chris Cruz jump.
It looks like it might be a
Oh, no, now he's not laughing, though, because that was a balk.
Yeah.
So Cruz is going to cruise on into second, but and Raw has a 0-1 count against him. And Chenoweth is going to argue about that balk, saying this is where his foot has to be. His foot was not there. Open your eyes, or something along those lines.
That conversation still is going on.
They play Let It Go, and I agree. I mean, at this point, what are you going to do? He's not going to reverse the call.
No.
There's literally, if things go well, there's 5 outs before this game ends. And even the fans are kind of giving it to Paul Noce over there. Did they just eject him?
Yeah, they just ejected
They
him.
just ejected Paul Noce.
Wow. This is our first ejection in USPBL.
We have some very loyal fans who will stay to the end of
Yeah.
the game despite the fact that they want to leave. And so they're giving it to Noce because Noce just would not let him go. Noce's coming back out to argue with the ump.
And here he comes.
And the fans are giving it to him. Noce's actually a very nice man, though. I've met him, talked to him. He's very nice, but he's very passionate, too. So it feels like I keep thinking to myself, oh, now he's going to come over and talk to the home plate umpire. And now it looks like Noce's finally going to leave the field after talking to both umpires. And we're about ready to resume play here. Brandon Raw's an 0-1 count. There's now a runner at second after Carl Bryce balked.
And there's been a lot going on in this game.
I keep thinking, what else haven't we seen today? And they keep surprising me.
You were surprised with that ejection
Yeah.
right there.
Swing and a miss there on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball high in the zone. 0-2 now. And they just shut the lights off in the parking lot where we park. That's fantastic.
That's not good. Well, we got flashlights on our phones. But
Yeah, we'll be fine. I'm just kidding around. I'm not too worried about it. 1-2. I'm just trying to have some fun here.
Okay. You know what? I can't wait till this game's done. I'm gonna go home, and go to bed.
1-2 pitch is going to be in there for a strike. He's going to strike him out looking. And like I said, the strike zone on the umpire's gotten a lot more generous here with just a few outs away from the end of the game.
Because, Brian, we have to be at the ballpark here early again tomorrow.
Yep, and that's just part of the job. I love
Yes, I love it, yeah.
It's a blessing, but it can also be a curse on long nights like tonight. But it's what I
Love being at
signed
the
up for.
ballpark. Yes, I love being at the ballpark.
Taylor Galikowski is 4 for 5 today. He has a 3-run home run, a base hit, a solo shot, a double, and a strikeout. And he breaks his bat on that one. Or I thought he did. It sounded like he did.
Yeah, it did. He's going to get a new piece
Yeah,
of
he
lumber.
did. Okay, I'm not going crazy then.
New piece of lumber for
As
Gradakowski.
he hits that one foul. So 0-1 on him.
What a night for him. Kwiatkowski's from Fraser, Michigan. Just a few minutes away from the ballpark. Of course, he has some fans here in attendance for being a native.
Swing and a miss there from Galikowski. 0-2 now.
There's a lot of Michigan natives in this USPBL league.
Yeah, it seems like every week we add one or two more.
Yep.
At first, when the year started, there was just a couple. As that one's fouled in the screen, still 0-2. And then it seems like as the year's gone on, at least one or two guys from Michigan a week. And like this week, we added Chris Long. We added Galikowski earlier in the year. Same with Gil Foyle. Kovalchik is another one. Swinging into the netting again. 0-2 still.
Steven Simmons. Right-handed pitcher from the Unicorns. Many more. Obviously, the farthest player in this league is Castro.
That one's going to get away from Figueroa, and that's going to allow Cruz to advance to third base. 1-2 now with 2 outs and a runner at third. 17-15 lead still.
Speaking of Castro, it's very surprising not seeing him in this ball game. So hopefully, no injury for him. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, he was he was scheduled to be the leadoff hitter like normal. I mean, he's a fantastic player.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you want him? But he was pulled. I saw him taking BP, and he looked fine. That one's going to be inside, 2-2 now. And then they pulled him, or I got a last-minute new lineup, and he was out, and John Kraft was in, so maybe it was just
to
decided
give
to
him a rest, maybe.
Maybe give him a day off, yeah. Or maybe he got hurt. We saw Jeremy Scott leave earlier in the day after he hit a triple and got 3 RBIs off it for Joe Maroney. So that one's fouled into the netting, 2-2 still. Galikowski doing a fantastic job for his team. Staying alive here. Fouled off a lot of these pitches so far. Just 1 out away from going to the top of the 9th, which would be last call for the Diamond Hoppers. Here comes the 2-2. Got him on a strike. They call it strike 3. Another one of those expanded strike zone strikes. And that's going to be it for the Unicorns in the bottom half of the 8th. So we go to the top half of the 9th inning, which is going to be last call for the Hoppers. They currently trail at 17-15. And when we come back, leading off for the Hoppers is going to be the 3-4-5 hitters, Esteban Gomez, John Mankin, and Cam Stewart. So please stay tuned. Welcome, everyone, to the top half of the 9th inning. Last call for the Hoppers. Brian Fisher and Dan Dobler with you here. Sean Gustin's going to take over from the mound and try to get the save here. Brandon White, in his second appearance here in the USPBL, goes 2 innings pitched with 1 earned run. Pretty solid performance from him. And the 8th inning was the first inning of the game where neither team scored a run.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been a crazy game, hasn't it? First pitch to Esteban Gomez is going to be a strike 0-1.
So like you said, Brian, last chance for the Hoppers. Only a few fans stuck around here.
That one's grounded over to first base as Gustin's going to cover first. And 1 up, 1 down. 2 outs left for the Hoppers to try and tie this ball game. Actually, that's exactly how John... Oh, shoot. For some reason, I just wrote that down on John Kraft, but he's probably not going to come up. Well, I'm not going to say that because then he will come up this inning. John Mencken is up to bat now. He is 1 for 2. He's been walked twice, hit by a pitch, has a base hit. So I guess that's a good night for him. He's walked twice and has a base hit. The first pitch to him in the dirt. Called for a strike, 0-1. Generous strike zone strikes again. I'm getting the feeling from this ump that he just wants to go home.
Yeah, I think we all do, right? I mean, the players are definitely going to get well rest this evening and tomorrow because both teams are off.
1-1 pitch is in the dirt, 2-1.
But fans were treated to a wonderful game here this evening.
Yeah, for sure. A long, wonderful game.
Yes.
I mean, they broke the record for the combined most runs in a ball game at 32 now. As that one's hit high in the air, just skied that one into shallow left field where it looks like it's going to be Rampone's ball. He'll make the catch, so 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the 9th, and it's going to be up to Cam Stewart to keep this one alive. So Cam Stewart is the last hope for the Hoppers here in this ball game. And a game that's gone nearly 4 hours. 3.5, closer to right now.
Yeah.
It's been a long ball game. It's going to be low for a ball, 1-0. If Sean Gustin can get a 1-2-3 9th here, he is my player of the game. Oh, pitcher of the game, not player, but pitcher of the game, without a doubt. That one's going to be low for a strike. 1-1. I'm not getting used to it. I should just not. I should just wait and see what the umpire decides because he's been very generous. There's a 1-1. Swung and hit foul, 1-2. So now Cam Stewart's down to the last strike, and we're 1 strike away from a 17-15 victory for the Unicorns. Fans are getting on their feet here and starting to applaud. Comes the 1-2. It's going to be high for a ball, 2-2. Comes the 2-2. Way outside, full count now, 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the top half of the 9th inning. Sean Gustin in to close things out for the Unicorns. So that one's going to be grounded over to the third baseman, Guilfoyle, and a 1-2-3 9th inning to end this ball game.
And it's finally over, folks.
After 3.5 hours, we have a 17-15 victory in favor of the Unicorns in what was a record-breaking night here at Jimmy John's Field.
Much, Brian.
Dan, let's not waste any time. I think everyone here is ready to go home, including us. Let's just hop right into our post-game chat. And Dan, a game that was filled with just defensive lapses, runs, poor pitching, crazy, just all-around ball game. It started off, the name of the game at the beginning of this matchup was the errors. The Unicorns have 6 errors on the game, and the interesting who they chose for. Well, he's five RBIs. That's not too surprising. Sorry, everyone. I was looking at who the
Spark plug
The
player
spark
of the
plug
game here.
player of the game was the official one, not our choices. It was Chris Cruz is what they chose. Anyways, what was I saying, Dan?
About the errors.
Oh, yeah, there was, you can tell how tired I am. 6 errors for the Unicorns at the beginning of this ball game, and it really damaged them. The Hoppers got out to an 8-3 lead.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Unicorns' big thing is persevering, and they came back, and they at one point had I can't even remember what the leads were at this point. They had a big lead, and then the Hoppers came back, and they got the lead back. The Unicorns had a 7-run third or something ridiculous like
Yeah.
that, or fifth, and it was back and forth like normal.
Mm-hmm.
This last time this team met, it was a 10-9 walk-off win for the Unicorns. A 17-15 win today. They are at each other's throats constantly.
Yes, they are. I mean, I'm excited between these two teams. I'm looking forward to many more matches between these two, and especially when the playoffs come around, it's going to be
Yeah.
amazing to see.
And I mean, oh Lord, the players of the game that really stole the show. Chris Cruz and Galikowski are obvious ones. They both
Yeah.
had 2 home runs each. Galikowski went 4 for 6. He had 2 home runs, 1 3-run shot, and a solo shot, a base hit, and a double. And then Chris Cruz went 3 for 4. He had 2 home runs, a 2-shot, and a 3-shot with 3 walks, and just 1 strikeout. So phenomenal outing from him.
Yep.
And then Quentin Alexander had 4 RBIs. He went 2 for 5, a double, a single, and a fielder's choice made those 5 RBIs. And then the Hoppers player of the game was probably Jeremy Scott. He had that bases clearing triple. Just back and forth game. I mean,
It
who
sure
would you decide would be your player of the game?
Galikowski.
Galikowski.
I think he's, because he was that 1 short shy of that cycle.
I say that's what's tough. It's tough to choose.
It
but
is.
since you chose Galikowski, I'll choose Cruz.
Okay.
Galikowski had the 4 hits, went 4 for 6, but Cruz went 2 for 3. He managed to get on base through walks as well, and he had 2 home runs too.
And Galikowski, I think he now leads the league in homers.
Yeah, it was a crazy night.
And just think, he was just a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, he just was added to this league.
Yeah,
And he's
just
tearing it
a
up.
home run hitter. My pitcher of the game is going to be Sean Gustin because of the fact that he hit a 1-2-3-9.
Yeah, I'm going to go with him too.
None of the pitchers really had a fantastic outing today.
No.
Especially the starters did not have a good outing either way. Dan, who's playing tomorrow at 1:30?
We got the
Father's Day.
Oh yeah, bring your fathers out to the ballpark.
Make sure you tell your fathers they love them.
Yeah.
Make them breakfast in bed. You don't hear much about the fathers on Father's
no,
Day.
you don't. So, and also do the chores that your father would do around the house.
Mow the lawn.
Yeah, or something like that. You never know.
My dad made me mow the lawn anyway, so.
Yeah, same. But anyways, we got the Beavers and the Mammoths at 1:35. It's gonna be another great one. Hopefully, it's not too hot. I know there was, some rain showers, but you know what? I'm just gonna keep quiet.
Yeah, we don't want that.
But thank you all for tuning in tonight. I mean, it was a long one, and it was
A long and
high-scoring
exciting
one.
Yeah. So it ended up being 17-15 the final. The Unicorns toppled the Hoppers. And it was a record-breaking night as well, as it's the most runs ever scored in a USPBL game, shattering the former record, 22, the new record being 32. And from Jimmy John's Field, Brian Fisher, Dan Dobler, we'll see you guys tomorrow.